to Raw is Law.
Take heed, love.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Raw is Law. I am your host, Berto, aka The Beaten Cheeks, that troll that is trying to just troll out all these damn simpy incel people and basically giving all these girls money because they're a bunch of fucking losers. But we're going to get into that later on. Today, I have a really special guest today. I've been following him on Twitch. On X, excuse me. I don't really do Twitch unless I'm trolling. He's a pretty based out character. I like him personally. I like a lot of his stuff. He seems to be a very God fearing individual and seems to have his head on straight. A lot of people are lacking these days. And that's what I like learn from people that are much smarter than me, like him. I consider him much more intelligent than me. And without further ado, let's have you on, sir. How you doing, sir? Please introduce yourself to my little crowd.
All is well, so thank you for having me on. What's going on, everybody? I am today with Julius. I normally don't do like first and last name for me because doxers out there. Yeah. So you guys can call me Julius. I have a YouTube channel called Today with Julius. I also have a secondary podcast called the Age of Men podcast, which I host with my co-host C3 Nick. Check it out every Sunday. We have a show tonight actually, so check it out. Pretty cool stuff. I appreciate that intro, man. I wouldn't say I'm the smartest person, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can. So I definitely can see the corruption in our world today. So I appreciate the hypeness.
Hey man, I'm just being honest, dude. I'm honest with with everybody. I am. I don't want to brag, but I have this thing called a good enough degree, a GED. So just throwing my bragging rights out there. So
I like that, the GED.
And so I like to get people with different perspectives that I usually have, because you seem to be a man of God. Me, I'm trying to find God before God finds me. So we're gonna dive into that a little bit. We're gonna dive into quite a lot of things. I know we're gonna talk about what you do for a living, for example. Your interactions with different content creators, which I've seen. By the way, guys, I have all these links down in my description below. Check out his stuff. It's actually really good. I think would I call you a journalist? Would that be proper?
No, because I appreciate it. The definition of journalism would be somebody that writes also. I would say more reporting than journalism. I never actually wrote an article before, so I just report on things.
Okay.
So be a lot more descriptive.
Hey guys, this is what I like to do. I like to learn things. I don't know. I didn't know that. I thought a journalist just goes out and just interviews people and like danger zones or important parts of America or the world. I didn't know that. But
I mean, you could consider that as journalism, but again, the word journal is like you write. So I never actually wrote anything. So reporting would be a lot more accurate.
Okay, there we go. That's awesome, man. So like I said, all this stuff is down in my description below. Make sure to give him a follow on everything, guys. So we're gonna start out like, how old are you, and what exactly is your occupation then?
I'm 37 years old. Right now, I'm just kind of independent. Doing the YouTube stuff, doing the podcast stuff. I had a job, but during the COVID, I had to give up that job due to me not following policies. I didn't want to wear a mask.
You and I are already best friends.
Yeah, it got pretty hectic during COVID, so I lost my job. I've been doing the YouTube stuff ever since. Again, just the independent stuff. I went cross country when we did the trucker convoy. That was pretty cool, and then I just been kind of grinding it out on YouTube ever since.
Okay, cool, man. So what job did you have exactly? Like, were you like
so I was doing I was doing the ride share, Lyft and Postmates, and so I was actually making pretty decent money because especially with Postmates, and the people work like 2 hours and try and get a little money. I work like 16-hour days to make as much as I can. I wake up at 5 in the morning, start at like 6, and wouldn't come back home till like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Just depends on how busy it is. So I was making pretty decent money with both Lyft and Postmates, but the problem was that Lyft did the whole mask thing, and so when people rode in my car, like, you got a mask on? And I was like, no, but I'm exempt because per California, they actually had exemptions. And so I would tell them that, and I show them I had hand sanitizer, I had the Lysol, I had the wipes, I had all that, and they still wasn't buying it. So they would report me to Lyft that I wasn't following policy. So Lyft would cut
Jesus.
my hours by 6 hours. So I couldn't work for 6 hours.
Oh man, that's bullshit, dude. Whenever
Yeah.
COVID began for me, I was living in Atlanta, and and I was my job was already remote to begin with, so I was already kind of lucky with that. And I it started in Atlanta, but because I didn't give a shit about the mandates. I thought it was all bullshit, obviously. Um, but um, Atlanta's becoming a little bit more liberal, and that kind of is bullshit.
Mm,
Because it's kind of in a red state, but it's becoming more blue starting from Atlanta, and
mm,
it's all the politics there is just getting worse. You can tell from CNN headquarters got fucked up during COVID. I don't know if you were aware of that. It was like what
yeah,
first
yeah,
major
the
city.
barbed wires.
Yep,
Yeah, I
it was the
remember
first
that.
major city during COVID. They got ran through by our peoples. I'm half black. I'm Brazilian and Honduran, by the way. So I'm gonna be
Okay.
saying a lot of racial, stereotypical, fucked up shit about our peoples. But it's all in good fun. But it's some honest truth. But like I'm not saying all black people are bad. Like I'm not. Everyone has their flaws and different race bullshit, right? But let's be real though. Atlanta was pretty messed up with everything that was going on. Who
Yeah.
and then who's that rapper Mike? What's his name? He just won a whole bunch of awards. What's his name?
Killer Mike?
Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would think, he's ATL, born and raised, he's stands up for his people. I wasn't so much into politics, but I was already kind of leaning conservative with the business I'm kind of running, right? But this dipshit just kept fucking telling people to keep burning things down. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you entice the black community to do that? You're making it worse. And then
Yeah.
people are going to be moving out. Look at Chicago. It's becoming a dead city. It's going to be the next Detroit from the looks of it. And you know how
Yeah.
Detroit is. It's pretty bad if you haven't been there.
Yeah, you
Um,
guys also had if I remember correctly, I think it was Atlanta when what's that dude's name? He was the one that was at Wendy's that fell asleep in the
yes.
car,
Yes.
and
Yep.
then
That was Atlanta. The
they
Wendy's
burned down the
shooting.
Wendy's. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that was
I
it.
was there for that. That was
Yeah.
literally like 3 blocks away from me.
And people got mad because it's like, well, the dude took the officer's taser and tried to fire at him, and the officer fired back. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily right, but you do something like that, it's like F around and find out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so people got mad and burned down the Wendy's. And I remember watching that video where there was this, it was a white girl and there was a couple black dudes, and then the fire happened and it just got worse and worse. And you just see this big old building, and it's just like, I'm not, again, I agree. It's not all black people. I totally get that. But the ones that were in that instance, it was blacks and whites, but we saw who was burning down the place. We saw it. We saw it on camera. It's not like we're not,
Yeah, we're not blind,
yeah,
Now, of course, like CNN would cut edits, and making it seem like it was like a hate crime when it really wasn't, you
yeah.
know. And so yeah, man. I wanna speak about this convoy of yours. You were gonna be doing uh in regard how is it that you started, how did you like grow so well on YouTube? You have a pretty large following on YouTube, not just that, but on X too, man. Like how did
Yeah.
that like come about? And
It's like,
you have a pretty respectable voice too. I see a lot of people that follow you that I'm like, oh shit, this guy's pretty cool. And you and I were interacting with each other in some chats too, with some
yeah,
debates.
yeah,
That was funny as hell, man. I
yeah,
was
I
like, oh,
know.
this guy's awesome. I like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, how did that come about with you blowing up?
it's interesting because I want to say 2018 was a very weird year for me, and I had my eyes open, especially in 2019. I had my eyes open once I, found God, found God more, and then through forgiveness, it changed my life actually. And so I started looking at everything that I was told that was racist, I'm oppressed, and yada yada yada. And I just started looking at things, and I was like, maybe we're being lied to, So there was, this is around the time that Trump president, so I was just like, is Trump really racist? I started looking into more and more and just kind of doing my research. So it's 2024. I'm now 5 years in, being in politics. I'm still learning day by day, but I started researching and I was like, man, maybe we're not as oppressed as they tell us to be. So what happened was I had an Instagram page that was like kind of music and just posting stuff. I took that down and said I want to make a whole new page and just kind of get into politics stuff. I took that down. I came up with Today with Julius for Instagram and Twitter, and I wanted to grow my following. And I was like doing research online. I was like, how do I grow on Twitter? So they said that if you talk to people in big platforms and go in their comments when they tweet something, you can grow your platform that way. Started doing that. I started watching my followers grow. When the George Floyd happened, that's what changed everything, because at the time, it was before George Floyd had like 300-400 followers, just kind of hopping in comments and things like that. When the George Floyd thing happened, my city got destroyed in downtown, and so I went
Where
down
at?
there. This is a Sacramento. So
Oh,
in
damn.
Sacramento, California, they destroyed our downtown. They broke into Macy's. It was a bunch of, it was just crazy stuff. And so I was watching the live stream the next morning, like at 6 in the morning. I saw the news down there. People were cleaning up. I said, I'm gonna go down there and help out. This is my city. I want to go help out. Went down there to go help out. This black guy drives past me, and he's like, "Really, bro? You're helping out? Really?" And I was like, and he started questioning me like as if I'm not supposed to be out here. So I hopped on after I was done. And that's where I actually met this guy named Stephon Clark, his brother. I met his brother because he was helping out too in one area, which is pretty crazy. But I went on Twitter and I was like, this black dude drove past me and criticized me for helping out, and it's like, you know, I don't recognize with the whole Black American thing. I'm an American at the end of the day. And that tweet went from 400 followers and then like shot up to like I think like 1,400. And I just kept
Damn.
watching it grow and grow and grow. And then something I kept seeing more stuff about the George Floyd. So I tweeted out, I was like, I'm not a Black American. I'm just an American. And then that literally went from 1,400 to like 14,000 in like 48 hours. It's just that tweet alone got like 100,000 likes. It was insane. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I'm just watching the numbers climb. And then I just kept tweeting more, and I was talking about Trump more. I was supporting him heavy at this time, and it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And then I got to a point where I was at like 30,000 followers. And then after January 6th, they slashed half my followers because they was trying to censor anybody talking about January 6th. And so I've been at 18,000 for quite a little while now. And I don't know. I know Elon Musk is, he bought Twitter, things like that. But I still think there's some censorship because I'm like, I post things that I think are pretty
It's
worthy
Linda,
of.
bro. It's Linda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot too. Well, yeah.
What does she say in that interview? It's
She said it's not freedom. It's not freedom of speech. It's freedom of it's not freedom of speech. It's freedom of
no,
reach
no.
or
It's
something
like
like
it's not
that.
hateful speech. It's something like, fuck. I forgot what it was. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, chat, help me out with this, man. I'm going blank right now. I had this like memorized too because it was really like bothersome. I was like,
Yeah.
why?
Well,
So it's
she's a
not free
feminist.
speech. If it's hate speech, it's not. I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
She's a feminist for sure because when I looked her up when they announced that she was going to be the co-CEO, I saw she had a picture on her Instagram with one of those like pink vagina hats, and I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely a feminist. So I'm sure she's going to be in Elon's ear every now and then, maybe sweet talking him. If he's a single guy, I'm not trying to say that things happen, but she may be like sweet talking him to the point where she can be really sweet talking him. I'm not. I'm just saying, you just never know because sometimes when you got women in the workplace, men tend to, get feelings. You know
Yeah,
how
man.
how it is.
What really pissed me off is before she got hired officially, I didn't know very much about her. I just heard about her, and it was when I was still, getting to know what WEF and BlackRock was at the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I was still like learning up on that. And I used to be a huge liberal, bro. Like I was
Same here.
oh, bro, I will outlive you any day. Um, no, like, I grew up in a single mother home, and
Mm,
you know how that goes. I have, mommy issues, shit like that.
mm,
But I had to grow and after multiple arrests that I have gotten myself into in my 20s, I had to basically look in the mirror and stop pointing the finger and playing the victim card by my race. You know what I mean? It's like I pointed at myself. I'm like, I am the fucking idiot. I'm the problem.
Mm.
You know, no man is taking accountability for their own actions anymore. They want to point the finger at other people, and they play the victim card, kind of like women do. You
Yeah.
know,
I'm glad
so
you
it's
said
very
that.
kind of
I'm
straight.
glad you said that. That's so relatable because I used to work at Starbucks at one point, and I remember I was heavy into the whole like race thing. 'Cause I was a liberal too, and I was into the whole race thing. And then when I worked at this other store, I just started to realize because I always kept having this feeling that they don't like me because I'm black, I'm too dark skinned. It was that victimhood, and then one day I was like, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me. And I got a friend, my friend Anomaly, good friend of mine too. He said, when you change, your world changes. And I just remember this is before I even met him, but just having that mentality back then, I was like, that's so true because when I changed, my world changed. I started seeing my coworkers treat me differently because I wasn't playing the victim. I wasn't acting like, feel sorry for me because of my skin color. I became a man essentially. You know what I mean? So it's like it was nice to just recognize that and actually like be more into my manhood. And from then on, it just, I mean, I still have my issues with relationships, but
Right.
after that, again, after 2018, when I opened my eyes, like fully opened my eyes by forgiving and giving my life to Christ, it definitely helped out, man. And so yeah, that victim here, I can totally relate to that because you see yourself like, they don't like me because I'm a person of color, and you realize it's not them. It's just you. Like get out that mindset and start walking with confidence and not with victimhood. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the problem we have in the society, and a lot of people, if you notice, I just had a few folks that are, part of the black movement for Trump, right? I just
Mm,
had the biggest voice for Trump, Derek Gibson. He's running for Senate over in New York. And he went viral with the Hodge twins and everybody else with the niggas for Trump. You remember
mm.
that?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was him. I just had him on my show,
That's a crazy phrase.
bro. That man, he lit the whole America up, bro. He kind of awakened the black communities too, in a good way, right? He started, he's opening up more eyes, even though I would consider, even in the Latino community, a lot of closeted conservatives, right?
Mm,
They don't want to, they think to vote blue is right because of what they like being told what to do. That's how it is in
yeah,
minority communities. That's what I figured out too. It's not just Latinos, but also the black communities. You don't see Asians doing that. You know what I mean? They have their own cultural aspects to, have a nuclear family. That's why you don't see very many mixed Asian babies. You see them, but not as
yeah,
much. Like to keep
yeah.
it, within their
It's
own
definitely on
race.
the rise. It's definitely on the rise because you see a
Yeah.
lot more Asians with white guys and
Oh yeah,
like
that's been normal for like 30 years, bro, since like Vietnam War. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm talking about like the real Asians, like Koreans and shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't consider them Viet Cong's real Asian.
He said he said,
I'm just
"Not
kidding,
not them
everybody.
express employees, but real Koreans."
Exactly. Chokse Ohangul, Shege.
Yeah. That is
I can
hilarious,
speak Korean,
man.
by the way. I used to live in Korea.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
How
yeah.
how was that actually?
I speak 4 different languages. So
Wow, that's nice.
yeah.
How long you live in Korea for?
I lived there for a year and a half
Okay.
actually.
How
So
how was it how was it compared to United States?
bro, that was in like fuck. That was in 2010 no 2011 no 2010 to 2000 almost 12. There a
Mm.
little over a year. This is back in the day though. Like I'm prior military by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for your service.
Fuck that. I'll explain why.
Okay.
I appreciate it,
Yeah.
but I'll explain to you why I feel that way now. But I joined the military because I didn't. My mom did. My mom's been married twice, and her second husband ended up being like one of the greatest men that's ever been. I wish I gathered more of his business like thinking and family value thinking. He was trying
Mm,
to instill that in me, but I didn't but they got married as I was, dropping out of high school. I left. I mean, got my GED, so I mean, I left high school, so I hated school.
mm,
And he wanted me to work for him in the car business. it's how I got better with people skills and stuff like that. Even though I was very, believe it or not, I was very introvert growing up, and I was a virgin until like I was 20 years old. I was such a little bitch, but I was like an all-star, soccer player, boxer, but I still couldn't get laid. Um,
That's a
but
good thing, actually. It's a good thing.
I guess. I mean, I was trying, but I used to weigh like a $115 soaking wet. So not many girls want to be seen with a little toothpick, right? And I was like one of the only colored folk literally in my town at that time. It's in a very small town called Crystal River, Florida. It's very white, but everyone's here is like the nicest people in the world. But at the time, I thought they were like the most racist. But even though they were nice to me, they didn't like my black friends or Latino, family members, though. At least that's what I thought. It's just they made racist jokes, but it was all in a funny, way, right? They weren't actually racist. It was just, racial stereotypes, shit like that. But I would take it personally, right? But they like me. So I don't associate myself with many people because I grew out of that, obviously. So anyways, I was getting to, military. Before I joined the military, what he was doing, he was trying to teach me to sell cars and stuff. He owned a corporation, a bunch of car businesses all over Minnesota and Florida. I mean, he had a bunch. I didn't even know he was a freaking millionaire. I was like, damn, Mom, where's my money out of this shit? He just recently passed away in 2018. But I remember everything he tried to tell me. I never listened to him. He's a very hardcore Republican. I was very liberal. I was like such a little beta soy boy. I used to get mad at everybody for the smallest little jokes. I would try and fight people at the bars. Oh my God, I was such a bitch. Excuse my cussing. I know you're not a man that approves of too much cussing, so I'm gonna keep it cussing down. As much as you can.
Be yourself, man. I mean, hey,
I am very authentic. I am going to be authentic, but I out of respect for you, I like your content. And I want you to, come back to me, some other time too. Because I know we can talk about so much, but this is just our first intro, and I want people to know who you are too. I can see people are actually, hitting my chat up pretty lively right now. Holy shit. I just didn't realize that. But anyways, he was trying to instill the, business-like mentality to, grow as a man kind of thing, right? Because I didn't have a father figure. I only met my father once. I didn't even know he was black. And then when I met him, I was like, holy shit, we kind of look alike. We're just as ugly as each other. I'm just a little lighter tone. My mom's very light-skinned Honduran, and he's like black. And so, yeah, he was a deadbeat, obviously. And then I wish I learned more of his business mindset earlier, how to save money and stuff, because I was always broke. I was a paycheck to paycheck in the military. I was spending money on girls I was never getting laid from. I was spending money at the bars, buying all my friends and trying to get new friends, acting like I was cool when I wasn't. And the only beneficial aspect that I got from being in the military is camaraderie. When you're in the military, they give you a good camaraderie mindset of diversing yourself, because I was in a very white town and I never been outside anything. I didn't have any. I had like maybe 2 black friends, and we're still friends to this day. They're off doing their own thing. They're pretty popular guys now. I mean, successful guys. And like the rest of like the people and where I grew up at are kind of just stayed stuck. They have that, there's high school, living their high school dreams till at almost 40. I'm 36, by the way. I turned 37 in June.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
Hey, I'm 37.
I know you're just a year older than I am, but so anyways, I wish, like I said, I followed his path a little bit. I wouldn't have joined the military and had the best friends that I have now, because I did make some great friends that I have learned a lot from. As a matter of fact, this is before, this whole red pill stuff ever came out. This is before, everything got popular. This is like mid 2000s, mind you, right? And he was telling me stuff that you can see in the future now what's going on. He was trying to tell me, I just refused to listen. I always debated him, and I hated that. I hate that about myself. He was a good man. He was never bad. He's never disrespectful to me or my mom. But, him and I would argue, especially on politics. The best arguments were definitely about the dogs, though, that we had at the time. One of his dogs used to love me more than him, and well, yeah, that's a whole different thing though. But it was cool how
Yeah.
we would fight over that dog. But anyways, there's a lot of people in minority communities that are growing up fatherless and seeking help in the wrong places. This is where I'm getting at. They go to YouTube and see the most toxic content, and they don't see people that are actually work their asses off to be someone that they should actually take real advice from. Instead, they're seeking advice from these hustlers, hustling out from the weak-minded males. I can't
Mm,
even call them men because they have no drive. Instead, they're getting mommies, weekly allowance money, and buying these self-help books from like Fresh and Fit and stuff, $1,000 like for an hour to speak with them, shit like that. And
mm.
what I'm trying to do right now, I've been trolling in all these spheres. Have you ever seen the beaten cheeks by chance? Any super chats? I've been in like a lot of like super chats
Yeah,
and a lot of
that's
big
actually how
podcasts.
that's actually how I knew of you because I was watching Valuetainment, and you
Yes,
were always in the chat, and I was like, this dude's pretty cool, man. I always watch it. I'm like, this guy Vegan Cheeks is saying some stuff. I was like, he's always there. Every time I watch it, you were always there. I'm like,
yeah.
dude's
I
keeping it
was there's
real.
the beginning of Saucecast, and so I met Adam, hung out with Adam, great guy.
Mm,
And I met him. I was at the first live ever, thing from last year. I was in the
okay.
front row. He didn't know who I was at the time. And then I was actually in a mic on the live, stage. And then he was like, "Oh, you're being cheeks," and everyone just clapped their hands because everyone knew who I was, but they didn't
Yeah,
put the face to it. I know
yeah,
there were some people in the troll comments that would be like, "He's probably some fat fuck or something like that," and some keyboard warrior. Unbeknownst to them, I come in with I like to dress nice when I go out, and I have a bunch of nice tuxedos and suits.
yeah,
I like to be loud because I earned it. I have worked my ass off to be in a position where I'm at now, where I don't have to rely on super chats. I have guys that super chat me. I'm like, bro, stop doing that shit. I was trying to take money from Rumble or Twitch or these guys. I want them to pay me, right? I
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
If you want to super chat me, cool. I appreciate it. Thanks for that. But I'm out here actually trying to help and advise men in particular and veterans. I'm a huge advocate for veterans, but I'm also I'm trying to get into MRA and local government stuff too as well. And I notice you like to speak a lot as well to try and help out men. And what I really respect about you, you don't have no set program. You're not trying to hustle people out. I'm like, man, I gotta get this guy on. I want people to listen to him. Like, that's why I wanted you on, and I want a lot of people to. Oh, I'm gonna kill you, Blue. I told you not to donate money, bro.
he does it anyway. That's like yes.
Fucker. No money, bro. I mean, I appreciate it. And and if you guys, seen the description below, all that money goes to my dog food. Gotta take care of my girls, man.
Yeah. You ever
So
seen that video on Twitter where there's a video of a homeless guy and he says, "What is the best nation?" It says donation.
I like
It's,
that. I've never seen that, but that's a good one. I like that.
it's really good. It's really good.
That is pretty good, actually. I'm gonna have to steal that one. No, but anyways, what I'm trying to do right now, if you haven't, if my I started this thing called the SIMPADEMIC, where I go
Mm.
and troll.
I saw you say
And
that on the comment recently or today. You said that it was somebody posted something and you said, thanks for my sympatemic" or something like that.
yes, it's getting out there finally. It reached out. So that's a good thing. And Rolo Tomasi, George W. Miller, his proper name,
Mm.
he he's old school red pill. I would consider myself, I would consider you an old school red pill and not the new one. You know what I mean? Like the hardcore. I'm a realist, is what I call myself. Um, and I'm old school red pill in regards to, I believe in family tradition, traditional family values, home nuclear family. Men need to be men, need to stop being lazy pieces of shit. But I don't advocate for, degeneracy, right? I'm
Yeah.
not perfect though. I have an issue right now where because I didn't have so much female attention, growing up, I I'm not a man whore. I'm just a little experienced. That's all. I
Mm.
don't push my agenda out to anyone because I don't have an agenda. I just like women, bro. I like I like being around women. I just can't help myself. And I have a lot of female friends, and I like to travel a lot. And I go to Colombia quite often. And but I got to stop going to Colombia though. It's just becoming a little too modernized.
Yeah.
We'll speak on that later if you want, but I'm not gonna get into like crazy details, but I can definitely tell
No,
you.
no, yeah, it's cool. I mean,
I can no, like not like that. I can definitely tell you the society how it's shifting in Colombia. It's pretty bad.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just
so
kidding.
no, yeah. I don't think I've ever told anyone like some crazy stories of Colombia here. I prefer to keep that on the offline stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I'm trying to do is I like to help out men if they're looking for a career job, if they're seeking career, changes, if they're seeking some help, especially veterans. I can guide them to that. I don't know everything, but I know how to, point the finger and be like, this person knows this, or this site knows this. You know what I mean? Like I know I have those kind of resources where I can help out those people. And then I can't speak on every career. I'm in tech, and when it comes to STEM, I'm a
Mm.
cybersecurity guy. I'm Yes, the only thing I can brag about in my life is the love I have for my family and my mom and my dogs. I love them to death. I'll do anything for them. They're everything I got. And I'm kind of a badass in cybersecurity.
Okay.
I like to consider myself one of the best cybersecurity experts in America, probably in the world. I'm pretty fucking awesome.
Mm. That's what's up.
Uh, but when I'm not a pickup artist, I still get turned down quite a lot, but I don't just approach anyone and whatever. But what men do need to realize is in order to actually talk to women, actually go out, not I'm very much against the whole apps, dating apps. I'm against that. I'm against online. I don't have no Instagram, never had Instagram.
Mm.
I haven't had Facebook since 2007. I've had X since 2008, 9, or whatever. But I haven't been as active until last year because, Elon got, on there. But I got grandfathered into the blue check
Mm.
because I've been a member with X for so long, but I never did anything. I was like, what the hell is this blue check? I think you got to be
Yeah.
famous for this. But I guess not. But guess what? They are charging me next month starting. So
Mm.
I'm like, it's only $8 a month, whatever. I'm like, I don't care.
Well, that's actually interesting, real quick, because I was paying $22 a month for everything, and I was just like, I want to save money. So when I cut that off, I actually still have my blue check mark, and I'm not even paying monthly. So I think once you buy it, I don't think it gets rid of it. Like the blue check doesn't go away once you, because again, I was paying monthly, and I just cut off 'cause I wanted to save money, but I still have my blue check mark. It hasn't gone away.
Yeah, I mean hey man, just keep it rolling, I guess, right?
Yeah, until Elon takes it away, hey, I'll just
Yeah.
have it on there. So.
Yeah, man. So anyways, I started this SIMPADEMIC basically a few years ago, but if you notice, I've been when I get on these super chats, I used to troll more on the women. Then I started, using my head a little bit more. And it's not the women we should be blaming. Yeah, they're like, degenerates and uh they they really don't amount to anything. I just recently heard a pretty good example of like Britney Spears. You know how she's going off the rails right now with her crazy videos and crap like that. But the difference between Britney Spears going crazy viral on these, videos of her dancing alone like an idiot is she actually has talent. Whereas these OnlyFans chicks doing porn and everything like that, when they become 30 years old, even, what other talents do they have?
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
They don't have anything going for them except for getting naked. And because guess what? The market is pretty, hot and heavy for younger women, and when they turn 19, 18, 19 years old, because they're actually prettier, they have less baggage. You know how it is,
Yeah.
the sexual, dynamics on, men and women, whatever, right? And so then they get mad, they're not getting digged down properly, so they're online, calling us men misogynistic because we have standards and boundaries. You see it all the time. I just got recently. I trolled recently on Twitter X, and someone said something like some super lib oh my god, these liberals, man, I love trolling them. They had a video of when Andrew Wilson was on the whatever podcast, and someone and you seen the whatever podcast, right?
Yep,
You know that
watch all the
Kiko
time.
chick, that dark chick. She's always very argumentative, very feminist. She's been kicked out. She's the one that went viral for saying to Chase that which if he would rather have sex with a trans woman or
Oh,
the oldest
Kiko.
woman in the world. She's the one that like
Kiko.
left and cussed him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's that chick.
Kiko's
She,
not bad. She's not, because the last time she was on there, I think it was when Andrew was calling in. And she didn't seem too bad. She did have a back and forth with Andrew because her worldview was inconsistent, but she seemed a lot more different than the last time, which is pretty interesting. Maybe because the dude that she's with is more conservative, so maybe she's like learning from him. I don't know.
yeah, she's changing a lot. Actually, if you see from now those videos to now, she is changing a bit. She's still a little mouthy though, but
Right.
yeah, but not as bad as she was in the first few. Like it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So it's pretty annoying. But anyways, and the one that he called in, they were talking about like no matter what though, the big thing she always argues is men our age dating adult 18-year-old women. We're not in
Yeah.
we're not going to high school football games and searching for the next 18-year-old. They're just happen to be of legal age. That's all. It's not like we're looking for 18-year-olds. They just happen to be the right place at the right time, whatever. And she's like,
Yeah.
I think that's very pedophile-ish, that's very
You know
pedo.
what's funny about that though? I totally understand, and I think the argument is always just the fact that because she's 18,
She's 21.
no, I mean, but I'm saying like
The argument itself.
yeah. The argument itself of men, like let's say men our age who happen to date a 18-year-old, women always look at that like it's a problem. If you think it's a problem, it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but at the same time, if it's legal, then it's legal, right? Not saying all things legal are always right, but what I'm saying is that they'll often call the men a pedophile who's if they're our age dating an 18-year-old, but how come they never question the 18-year-old who's dating an older guy? Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
because they're playing a victim card. No, they're placing a victim card on that girl, saying, "Oh, the man's gonna manipulate her to do a whole bunch of messed up things and all this crap." They always have to come up with an excuse for that, especially the feminists. They're the ones that attack me the most. But
Yeah.
like, so me and I got in this, this whole like trolling debate, right? I was lying when I saw that clip. I said, I don't have an 18-year-old girlfriend, but for my trolling purposes, I said I'm a 36-year-old, successful, disease-free, man. And then my girlfriend's 18 and I met her at a conference, for work. Is that immoral? And they're like, no, that's very pedophile. They just kept using emotions and ad hominem me.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, you guys are just insulting me. You're not actually attacking the argument. Is there anything immoral about a grown woman, not a teenager, a woman of 18 years old? And I also made a mention that she was like, 18 and a half, and I just met her like a few months ago or whatever. And I didn't even know her age until she told me whatever. This is all part of the trolling purposes.
Yeah.
They don't know that. And so they just kept attacking me. And then the best thing that they can keep coming up with to try and get me in a gotcha moment is they keep lowering the age. If you ever notice that, they're always like, that's what these libs do. They like to like, not attack what I was talking about. They like to lower the age and make it very pedophile. I'm like, bro, I'm not part of the pedophile ring like you and your class of people. All right, chill out. Like exactly. So it would be immoral if it was 17. I'm like, yeah, I agree. They can't vote. They can't work in the government positions. So yeah, but what if the government put them at 17? But it's not. It's at 18, no matter what. So you can't change the government. Good luck with that.
Some states do have 16 as the age.
That's too much for me. I don't deal with the 16.
No, yeah, I don't agree with that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know like Alabama or something.
To add to that, it's interesting because they don't ever question women who are 18 who choose to go into the military, which from what I understand now with Congress, they're trying to make it mandatory for women to go into the draft. It hasn't passed Congress at all. I think the last time I saw they was trying to do it was like 2021, 2022. But if women now can still choose to go into the military at 18, they never question those women about doing something that young. but yeah, when it comes to dating, it's like, oh, the guy is bad because he's dating an 18-year-old, but she's an adult. Do they ever question if she's such a victim, right? If they're making this out to be pedophiles, how come they don't question the 18-year-old that does pornography?
Exactly. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, exactly. Andrew brought that
She's
argument.
getting banged, and the 18-year-old gets banged out by lots of dudes. So is it really the guys, or is it her that's disgusting herself? You know, I'm not saying the
Yeah,
men
not
are
only
disgusting,
discussing
but I'm
yourself,
saying
but
in that
making a
sense.
choice.
Yeah,
Like,
it's interesting to me. It's
yeah,
interesting.
we live in a very crazy modern world right now, right? Where it's so weird that I'm bringing up stuff that's being brought up to light now that I've been saying for quite a long time, especially in like super chats and stuff like that. And the whole point of the argument is they can't attack the argument of if it's not immoral at all. I'm not, and then I said it's consensual. She's the one that approached me. She
Yeah,
found me attractive and very well spoken at my conference, stuff like that. I was never chasing her, or whatever. And me, quite frankly, I do want a young girlfriend. But I mean, I'm not gonna push for 18. That is a little young, but I mean, I have not gonna lie. I have I've been with some 18, 19-year-old chicks, and I felt like that was kind of like I did break open their world immediately because I was just like,
yeah,
damn, man, like they were in
yeah,
love immediately. And this is before I even showed them my own house, and I'm very well established,
yeah.
and then I'm just like, man, this girl is gonna, oh man, I'm not gonna catch a case. I'm not saying that,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
but not. It's not even the case thing, right? It's more like there is the argument of they're not, what is it called? They're not fully developed. I get that part, but that's still not any moral objective that they can argue, right?
Yeah.
They just keep bringing the age down. I don't know why they keep doing that, but they just like to give me in gotcha moments, and they can't do it, so they can't win
I
that
think
argument.
it's because and I can be wrong on this, but I think it's because the women they have the mindset already that it's a patriarchal society, that men rule, we tell women what to do. I mean, we do give women rights if you think about it, but that's the mindset they have, is that it's patriarchal. So if a man dates a younger woman, he has he's doing it with malicious reasons. He wants to
Exactly.
control, he wants to manipulate, he wants to do all this stuff. But then so what happens if even a 21-year-old dates a man who's 47? Is that still wrong for him? Is she because she's making the choice too? And I think that's where it always gets lost at, is that she's making a choice too. So it's almost like when a man who's older dates a woman who's younger, they call him a pedophile, but you scream, my body, my choice. Isn't it her body and her choice? She's making that choice to do what she wants with her body. So why are you not championing that, right? If they champion my body, my choice, why is it until the 18-year-old dating the older guy, but you condemn the older guy dating the 18-year-old? You should be championing my body, my choice.
Right.
Just by their argument.
Right. No, I agree, and we're definitely going to be talking about that. I know I've seen videos of you talking about abortion. I'm like iffy on that. This is where I think you and I might definitely. I think the only big disagreement we'll have is probably about the abortion thing, but we'll get
What are you iffy on? If you don't mind me asking, what are you iffy on?
uh this happened a few years ago. I've paid for a few abortions, all right? But they were never like fully 7 months, 8 months out, or nothing like that. It was like as soon as within like what is it, like a month or not even 2 months. What is it, like 6, 7 weeks when you find out you're pregnant, whatever, you miss your first period and shit like that. It was never that deep. You know what I mean? Now that is wrong. I do agree with that. They shouldn't. I think people should be sterilized at that point. Like I don't agree with that part.
Did you
But
repent?
my stance in abortion has changed drastically, though. I'm not even when I was, pro-abortion, I don't think I even stood with the fact that they used to get aborted at like 7 months. I think that's still murder.
So you were against abortion, but only when it was late term?
Correct. Anything after, what is it, like, first, before the first heartbeat, within like 15 weeks, 20 weeks or something like that. That's my stance right there. I think having kids out of wedlock, one night stand, stuff like that, shit happens, and I don't, a lot of people are not prepared for that kind of, outlook and having kids and whatever, right? So it's very difficult. And if an abortion is, a money saver, not just for the girl, but also to, their livelihood with, with the man, he may not even be able to afford a child, let alone, child, what is it? Not child custody, but alimony and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, monthly child payments, yeah, child support.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, with all that stuff, you know, I think there's a good reason behind that, or, obviously incest, rape, and all that, obviously. Um,
So you you support abortion now when it's the extreme rape, incest. Okay, let me ask you this then. Um, who do you think we should punish when it comes to rape? The rapist or the unborn child who did nothing?
the rapist.
So then why do we punish the unborn child who did nothing?
See, that's the issue. The argument here. She is a baby that she doesn't expect to have. It's not a baby that she can. It's a bit traumatic. It's a traumatic experience, and I don't believe a baby being born from a rape situation. Uh, I don't think that's good to be brought in the world. Maybe okay, I could be wrong. I know I'm not right about everything, but this is my personal opinion. I don't think that it should be. I mean, if a girl wants to, that's her opinion, right? I mean, that's her choice. That's whatever, right? But I just don't think that's such a traumatic experience a woman has to go through, and to have a baby from a rape situation, I think could be worse, especially on the mental psyche of a woman that has to go through, and she has to see that kid and think of the rape victim, of that happening. Now, that's just my opinion.
Okay,
That's it.
let me go ahead and ask you this then. Uh, do you think that all of the babies who were conceived through rape, who are living life today very successfully, think we should kill them?
Oh, of course not. That's
So
why I
then why
said
do we take that
that's
same
why I
thing
said it's
out?
a woman's choice to keep the
Right,
baby.
but if they're living, if women have had babies who were conceived through rape and they're living successful lives right now, why should we then prevent the baby who was conceived through rape? Why should we prevent their lives if we're not willing to kill? Because that same logic can be put towards the born babies, born human beings right now who were conceived through rape. Because the women have to look at that baby all the time, or that person who's now grown. They have to look at that. So by that same logic, we should be able to wipe out anybody that was conceived through rape. So if we
And
wouldn't kill the born person who was conceived through rape, then we shouldn't kill the person who's in the womb conceived through rape.
see, remember when you asked me first, though, who should we punish, the baby or the rapist? I said the rapist.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
didn't-
what I'm saying is that, and I agree, death penalty for the rapist all day long. I'm with that. What I'm saying is the logic of, it's traumatic. You have to look at that baby. If that's the case.
It could
All the
be a good
baby.
woman. It could be a good woman, and she's like, you know what? I know this is traumatic. I'm gonna have the baby. That's her choice. This is where we come. This is where we can come in agreement where it can be, her thing that she's gonna have the baby. The good thing is about you and I, we're men. So me, I don't know if me personally, if I was a woman, I don't think I could do it. It all depends on where I stand in life. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's just
but
such a crazy, like, you know stance that I have on it, like, cuz I don't, I stand on pro life, but I know you I saw in a debate, I guess you would call it, or you were talking about pro lifers. You said if you believe in any type of abortion, you're not a pro lifer, right?
yeah,
That's what you
that's
said.
why I changed my stance. I used to be pro-life, really pro-life, and then I changed my stance because I came across Abolitionist Rising's YouTube channel, and they were talking about how pro-lifers, they claim to be pro-life, but they wouldn't prosecute a woman that had an abortion. There's still abortion pills being happening all across nationwide. They can still get abortion pill, even with the pro-life states that have abolished abortion. Women can still get the abortion pill. So are they really pro-life? And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I want to abolish abortion altogether. So that's why I asked you about the rape instance, because You talk about choice, but we're taking away the baby's choice. Even though they were conceived through rape, we're taking away their choice by killing them. And I don't think we should kill unborn babies just because of how they were conceived.
I can get down with that. But again, I'm not a woman. I just can't. But yeah, I just can't. I don't know.
So
I just
what is a woman? No.
whoa, bro.
Just kidding.
Whoa, how dare you ask this on the show?
Did you
Bro,
just assume my
I'm
gender?
woke. Easy there, Julius. We just met. Don't
Yeah.
get me triggered. All right. I'm just kidding.
So here's my solution. This is
Yeah.
what I try to do whenever I talk to any pro-choicers, right? And I actually had a great conversation with this woman one time. I said that the problem with the pro-life arguments is that they're always going tit for tat. When it's the baby, starts the conception, which is all true, whatever the case. But I think we don't offer solutions. I think that's the problem. And I think that women who get, raped or with incest, we should help those women carry their child to term. So if they are still traumatized, they can do adoption, but the adoption should be next of kin, not just some stranger. It should be next of
Actually,
kin, like
that is
mom, dad,
actually a
aunt,
good idea. I
uncle.
never heard it like that. Now that I
You
would
know,
get down with for sure. Like if she's not ready, she's probably embarrassed. Maybe not even next of kin, but maybe they can vet out a good family, for the baby, right?
I I only have a problem with that because then that opens the doors to homosexuals adopting. I'm against homosexuals adopting kids.
Yeah, I definitely have taken a hard stance on that myself too. Because I just I just recently got into okay, so I like to go out quite a lot. I don't drink, all right? So we're just gonna get there for right now. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, none of that shit. But I like to go out because I like to touch grass. I like talking to people, associate people, kind of like how you and I grew up in the 90s and stuff. Getting, associate with people before, technology. Remember those days, and
Yeah.
you just meeting people, out with work business type things, even at
Yep.
lounges and whatever. People
Yeah.
stop doing that so much, right? So where was I going with that? I just lost my train of
You
thought.
you were talking about going out, meeting people, because we were talking about the whole I was mentioning the whole abortion thing and then like helping women out and things like that. And
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. 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 So when I come into a lot of like the whole like homosexual thing, right? Homosexuality is going up, is rising in America. So that also means lack of babies. So I
yep.
want to go back a little bit to the abortion part, right? How you said next to kin and stuff. While I agree to not have homosexuals raise babies because that's kind of weird. I have two moms, I have two dads, and I'm about the nuclear family. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Divisive. Thanks for coming in, guys. But and I do agree in the nuclear family, and that definitely needs to get vetted out. And like, I have a lot of good, cool homosexual friends that follow me and stuff. They support me. They're great. They're pretty based. Even they believe in a nuclear family. But I always found out that there's always some, traumatic that occurred to them, in some sort of way, which is why
Hmm.
they become the way they are. Not saying all of them are, but majority of the ones that I have known. So I got in this not heated exchange, but like I was saying, oh, this is where I was going with this. I like to go out and do stuff. I'm very nerdy though, believe it or not. I like to game. I'm a fucking gamer, all right? But I like I remember I told you I like women. I like going out, meeting women and shit. But if there's a girl that happens to come over my house, guess what? I if she's boring, I'm gonna come to my computer and play video games. That catches all these women off guard, you know, because I'm a nerd, bro. I love nerding out, but not for too long, just enough for them to, I'll get them an Uber and, sayonara. And the thing is, what I realize is there's a lot of, kids being born out of wedlock that I do agree that needs to be, when it comes to abortions. Yeah, they should be born if they're in a traumatized state. Yeah, they should be, being put for adoption. I do agree with that aspect. Never really thought of how you
That's
put it
the
that way.
choice that I'm actually okay with. I'm okay with the choice of adoption, but I think it should be next of kin in my opinion. That's the choice that I'm okay with. If there is a loving Christian family who, very not no say they're Christian, but then they're like really just evil people. If they're actually loving Christian family, meaning like if the woman is unable to have kids due to any kind of like problems and they want to adopt, I'm okay with the adoption to that. If the family is Christian, they follow the values and things like that. I'm okay with that, but just to open to anybody, I'm just not totally for, because you can't trust anybody. But I would vet the Christian family 100%. So the thing is, I'm with you because I do think that with the
No, I'm with
rise.
you. It was your idea that you brought it up. I'm with you.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, I'm with you with the whole like the homosexuality thing, the rise in it. You're right about that because I think, in my opinion, there's a depopulation agenda going on, and I
I've
think
been
the
talking about
more,
this for months. I'm glad we're going
yeah,
to talk about this now.
the more that you get kids to be homosexuals, which I see it more as a trend and not so much as a identity or a sexuality. It's just like more of a trend because it's trendy to be trans, it's trendy to be non-binary. So the more you get kids on that and confuse them, the more they start to deviate from liking the opposite gender, like female to male, male to female. They start liking other female. They start creating all these identities like pansexual, demisexual. It's all just to have homosexual acts at the end of the day. The more you do that, the less children you end up having, which is why I don't think our birth rate is inclining, it's declining. Because again,
Yep.
more children who are on the rise with homosexuality, transgenderism, the less you get children being born. And that's a
If
big problem because we need people in this world. We need people that are going to be the next leader, the next great man, the next great Christian man, whatever the case may be. We need more people. So I think reducing that, it just becomes a problem because then they attach climate change to it and all this bull crap to keep brainwashing you. Oh, it's your carbon footprint, yada yada yada, all that stupid stuff. And
I used
that's
to
why we
believe in
got, we
that
got to
crap
get back.
too, man. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that's why, in my opinion, I think we got to get back to God. If we get back to God, we can really get this country, bring this country back. But
yeah. So what?
it's just
Yeah, I,
crazy.
I, I hear you there. So I grew up Catholic, then I went very atheist, like deep on like atheist, right? And so what the fuck? Show me on this. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Larry. So what's crazy is whenever I adopted, my degenerate behavior as a liberal, right? Um, it I like I said, remember I opened up my eyes, I guess, towards the, kind of closer to the death of my stepfather. And in regards to religion. And also Andrew Wilson touched up on this too, because I know he's trying to like pushing hard on me to become a Christian myself. Now, if this is any, good wake up call, for everybody listening, especially in the crucible, I know you fuckers like to be in here, trolling me here. All right. I'm going to come out and say, I do believe the Christian values and Christian, law of religion is actually a good thing. It's a good setup for bringing, the nuclear family into play. Not Islam, not, I mean, Catholic's good too. Not Buddhism, not, any poly crap like that. I've been studying slowly on these religions, right? In regards to this. So, and it seems like the Christian values, is the best setup for a nuclear family and also to have the most, what's that main word everyone likes to use? The most based family, based kids,
Yeah,
and, in a very well educated, family, nuclear family dynamic. Only then can they know, oh, okay, so it's okay to procreate. It's okay to go through puberty. It's okay to do all these things, right?
yeah,
And whereas right now society is, they're killing that off. And with WF pushing all this agendas with DEI and ESG scores, all this crap going on, what they're doing is actually killing people. And Bill Gates is actually one of those people too. With the whole, are you familiar with the fake meats that he's doing and the farms that he's doing?
yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, I can show you. I can send you what I have, and so you can study on that too. It's really good.
Yeah,
Especially for someone like you, I think you would love the stuff that I got my hands on to. I have
yeah.
this guy. His name is 444 Patriot guy. He always gives me these badass articles, man. He
Okay.
Yeah, and then I like to read them, and I'm like, dang, like that's when I really open up my eyes. Well, I've already had my eyes open, but this is more knowledge, right? That I
Yeah,
think you would appreciate, especially for someone that likes to, get news out there, right? Like really
yeah.
good news articles, right?
Yeah, I wanted
So
to say real quick. One thing I know I lack for sure. This is something I really do lack. I got to get on more. I do lack the theology, understanding of religions. Again, it's been 5 years for me since becoming more closer to God and things like that. I'm still trying to study the Bible so I can know verses and what it's talking about and things like that. But what I do understand, and I do think that family is important. I think we should bring back family. We need the father to work. We need the mother to be at home. We need children to be raised right with values as well, because then the society keeps on going. I know people disagree with that because they live in their world, because a lot of people didn't grow up with both their parents, or if they did, their parents were so strict to where um strict to the point where there might have been some hypocrisy. And so people kind of look at that and go, well, my parents say one thing, but they're not showing me, they're not living by what they're saying, they're just being strict. And that's like part of that trauma people go through. And I think that's the reason why they have a hard time kind of sticking to certain values, which is funny too, because those people who disagree, what happens is that they, I'm not saying they're totally moral, but they still have a morality of a sense of, like, for example, Michael Knowles said it perfectly. He's like, would you rather bake a cake for a widow, or would you kick a baby down the road? And most, even who don't believe, will might bake a cake for the widow, right? Because this it's the moral thing to do versus kicking the baby. Do you know what I mean? So even though they may not believe, there's still something in them where they have a little bit of morality. So if they kind of expanded that and kind of opened up their minds to say, well, why do I have these morals, and where does that come from? You can start finding your way to God just based on that.
So I'm not like that's pretty good, and I'm gonna add on to that that I am not a religious guy, but I have studied religion, and as an atheist, I used to debate, these Catholics and shit all the time, and how everything is, fake, whatever. And but as I'm slowly, remember how I said in the beginning, trying to find God before God finds me. Well, it's crazy that everything is, the basic moral high ground is Christianity values. Like you said, you need to have a mom and and a dad, not a dad and a dad, not a mom and a mom. And in order to procreate, you need to have the basic understandings of what is right from wrong. Simple things. They had the 10 Commandments, as a base of operations on, for every law in the world, right? Um, and the 7 deadly sins of what you can or can't do.
Real
So
quick, I'm glad you mentioned the Ten Commandments, because that's what I was going to ask you earlier. Is that how can you be for abortion if you follow the Ten Commandments? It literally says, "Thou shalt not kill." And this doesn't say the exception; it just says, "Thou shalt not kill." So how can, if anybody follows the Ten Commandments, how can you be pro-abortion if you know "Thou shalt not kill"?
I mean, yeah. I'm so iffy on abortion, bro. Like I said, if it's, I don't, like I said, for me, it's just like a crazy thing because I'm not a woman. But what, like I said, this is my opinion. If there's no heartbeat, I don't
Well,
think it's a baby yet.
but do you have to be a weatherman to know that it's raining outside?
Pardon?
Do you
Oh,
have
no,
to
no,
be?
no.
Yeah, you have to be a weatherman to know that it's raining outside. Like, you just know that it's sunny outside. Right now, if you see it's sunny right now, you might see it's raining. You don't gotta be on the news saying it's gonna rain today. You just know because you just look outside. So it's like, if you know something is murder, why not stand up for that life? You know what I mean? It's a human being, and so therefore, if we take that life, it's murder. So if we're gonna abide by the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," then how can we even be remotely for abortion?
No, I mean, I guess I can agree there, but sometimes these guys just like to leave it in and shit just happens. I know, man. I don't know, man. Like I said, it's just iffy for me, man. It's just,
Well, so then, that's why I advocate. So this is where I get men kind of pushback on me. I actually had a debate with a guy last night. I told him, I said, I think men and women too should be virgins until marriage. Now, people will first say, well, are you a virgin? And it's like, me, I'm not. Like, I'm a single dad, right?
oh, you
I
have a
ain't,
kid?
I have one kid. Yeah, I didn't do things the right way when I was younger. This is why, because like I believed in God, but I didn't give my life to God. Do you know what I mean? And so when I gave my life to Him, it changed everything. So even as a single dad, I'm living by example by not screwing with hecka girls. So I say hella is like such a Cali thing, but I'm not screwing hecka
I know.
girls.
I used to live in Cali. I know, dude. I know all of that crap now.
Right. So I'm not screwing with women. I'm not out here, being promiscuous. I'm just trying to live my life, take care of her, take care of my family, take care of me. Know that God is first. But I think moving forward as a society, I think men and women should be virgins until marriage because people who tend to have sex before marriage, the relationship never works. The moment you have sex, it goes downhill. Now, are there exceptions? Maybe, but it's not the rule. So the moment you have sex, it goes downhill because she gave her body up to you already. You gave your body up to her. And it also shows that if she gave her body up to you that easily, you think she's not going to leave you and go, her hypergamy won't kick in? She's going to absolutely leave you because she gave it up to you already. If she finds some other guy that's better than you, she's going to go off for him. So
Right.
waiting until marriage is the best thing because then you can weed out who's really about it and who's not. And I think it's a net positive if you wait until marriage. It's a net negative if you have promiscuous sex because it leads to divorces, it leads to infidelity, it leads to STDs, it leads to abortion. People are just not faithful. It's a lot of unfaithfulness when you have sex before marriage.
No, I actually agree with that 100%. So, that I can definitely get down on. So, well, that's why I said, I think we need to bring God back to America before God loses himself out of America, right? With this whole WF, LGBT, stuff being pushed, that's actually driving away religion. And also the lack of, births, right now we're on a decline, like you said. They are slowly killing people off because they have another worldview, is very what you call satanic, very immoral, and they're killing people with chemicalized meats. They're doing it via these vaccines. I'll give you a quick little recap on my situation. I used to work, as a contractor, for big companies. I'm not going to say. I was recently sued by one of them because they
Mm.
thought I was trying to take their clients, which was not the case. Um,
Uh-oh.
I'm a badass mother effer, guys. So
Hold up. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen right now. I don't know if that's on my end, but you're frozen. At least on my end, it's showing that you're frozen. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, yeah, it is on. Yeah, it was on his end. I guess he froze up. Hopefully he comes back. Let me fix my camera real quick. There we go. Uh, eh, maybe. Yeah, the Matrix might be getting him. I'm reading the chat as well. I thought it was me that he was frozen, but I guess it was on his end. So hopefully he comes back. Somebody said a Fed Fed called in. Matrix is getting to him. Yeah, I thought it was a great convo. We're still live on Rumble, I believe Kick and YouTube, Twitch, and X. Hopefully he comes back. I'm gonna check my DMs, see what happened. Uh, I'm going right here right now. Hold on, everybody. It froze. Hopefully he sees this. Feds a compromise. Raw you feed is good. Oh man. Oh man, I don't know what happened. Maybe we were talking about. I mean, I don't know what happened. I have no idea. Maybe kind of restart. Let's hope he didn't get swatted. Yeah. Well, let me reintroduce myself to people who have just joined in. Um, Beaten Cheeks is interviewing me. I am today with Julius. If you guys want to watch my content, I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/ today with Julius. You can also follow me on all other social media platforms. Today with Julius. Just look it up on Google and you'll find me. Um, I also have a secondary podcast called the Age of Men podcast. We'll be on. We do a show every single Sunday. It might change, but we do a show every single Sunday. We just talk about relationships and things like that, differences between men and women. We're not fresh and fit. We're not whatever podcasts. And no disrespect to them, we're just not them. We try to be a lot more nuanced. I say we're pretty base, but we try to be a lot more nuanced as well. I'm not saying that those guys aren't necessarily, but I know people always deem those podcasts as like trying to make women look dumb. I disagree with that statement, but yeah, that's essentially what we do. We talk about relationships and things like that. So if you guys get a chance, do check out the Age of Men podcast. We got some pretty good stuff. And if you want to check out my content as well, do check it out. It's pretty good stuff. So Cheek said, keep it going. Okay. Well, yeah. So again, for me, I'm just somebody who's been. I got into politics. I want to say 2019 is when I got into politics because 2018 was a weird year for me, and I had a realization about something. I had a relationship, and I had a realization about it, and it opened my eyes to a bunch of other stuff. And so I was on YouTube, and I was watching. For some reason, this content kept coming up about like SJW versus Logic and things like that. So I would see these conservatives like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Kenneth Owens, Owen Schroyer, Jordan Peterson. I was watching like all these clips of them like owning the left. And I was like, huh, I agree with some of those stances. And mind you, I used to be pretty liberal. It's funny because I used to be liberal, but I was never hardcore to where I would like, get mad at somebody who would say something that I disagree with. I would just have a conversation with them. I would say I was pretty reasonable liberal. Like for example, like as far as how liberal, I was anti-gun. I didn't care if somebody was homosexual. That didn't bother me. Um, I believed in the racism thing. I thought that, people would look at me because I'm black. I believed in those things, but over time, like just little things in my life just opened my eyes. Like what got me away from the race thing was actually Kevin Hart because I remember watching like, comics back in the day. It was always the race joke. Black people do this, white people do this. And I remember watching Kevin Hart and he never really had like when he came out with new comedy, it was never about race. And I was like, I like this comedy. He's not talking about race. He's not, mentioning that he's a victim. It's nothing like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And I was like, man, that's pretty dope. And that just led me to on the notion of maybe I'm not this victim. Maybe I can be somebody if I just put the effort in. So I
All
was
right,
talking
I'm
to you.
back.
Yeah, I was talking to your chat. So I was
Oh,
letting get to
all
know you
right.
a little
Thanks,
bit.
chat, for keeping Julius, entertained.
Yeah. The show must go on, as they say,
Oh
right?
my gosh, dude. I don't know what happened. Them boys, dude, trying to get
I,
me.
I know. It was the YouTube boys.
Oh, yeah, because I am streaming on YouTube. I don't have anyone looking in there, so.
I mean, there's no audience, maybe, but YouTube's always watching. So I'm sure Susan is out there like, what's he saying? WEF? Jews? No, I'm just kidding.
Bro, what the hell, man? So I am so sorry. I apologize for that. It was clearly on my end, apparently.
Yeah, I thought it was me. I was like, is my Wi-Fi messed up?
Yeah, me too. So I immediately looked over. I'm like, am I downloading some porn in the background I'm not aware of? Or
This
I'm just
guy.
kidding. For the
I
record,
hope not.
no. For the record, I haven't watched porn since 2018. So been porn free since 2018. So
That's good, man. That's good.
yeah,
Porn
yeah.
ruins your mind. All the men watching, stay away from porn. It will rot your mind. Matter of fact, what porn does, it makes you think that it's real life, and it's not. So anytime you get with a woman and you try to get it on with her, you're gonna start doing things the same way you watch porn. You're gonna start imitating it too. You just get away from that stuff, man. It's not real life. Porn is not real. It's all
Yeah,
acting.
that was poison for me. Oh my God. I didn't realize how big of an addict I was on that crap. It
Yeah.
was so bad, Julius.
What makes it worse too is that you start to. I'm not saying you can't find women attractive, but it makes you look at women solely just want to just have sex with them. Like even when you're talking to one, you're just like, let me hit, let me hit, let me hit, let me hit, let me hit. Like that's just running through
Exactly.
your mind. So
Yeah, that's how I used to be too, man. Like when I was trying to be a degenerate, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna pay for her dinner. All right, when are we gonna, get the check and, take her back to my crib, right? Like
yeah,
that's another thing, a lot of these guys don't know is, yeah, it's okay to approach women and get rejected. It's fine. It's fine to get rejected. Like I'm not a very handsome man, and I'm only 5'8". I know what I can work with. All right, I'm very confident in myself. That's not an issue. I know where I stand, with other men, within, the same room as me and, whatever. I'm a realist. A lot of guys, though, they're not so much realists. They think they're so tall and, good looking. They can just get laid on the spot. And then guess what? They get pissed off. The girl they were talking to comes home with me or someone else, or then they get pissy. And, then you get these black pillars, right?
yeah,
So that's where I am fighting against too. So I got the incels coming at me, these other keyboard warriors, the simps coming at me. It's dude, I love it though. I love that.
yeah,
I feed off that energy, because that means I'm getting to them, right?
yeah,
So that like when they're just insulting me, calling me names, I'm like, cool, but you're still spending money on girls that are never gonna, respect you,
yeah.
right? Like I can DM this chick right now if I had any social media presence, and probably hook up with her like and within a week.
Would
You know,
you would would you consider being abstinent until marriage?
it's funny you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, I am glad you brought that up. I have been thinking about that. As a matter of fact, I really have. But I think because of my lack of women and all the women that really shit on me, lied about me back in the day. Not like, allegations, not that kind of lies. I'm talking about like, no, I'm talking
No.
about women that are like, used to put me down so much. I've been not having like like a sexual vendetta against any woman or nothing like that. I'm not going out to get laid. I'm actually trying to look for just one girl, but as you know, I'm sure you're very well aware, there's more of these pick me girls coming out, the woodworks these days.
Mm.
So I don't know if you're familiar with that right now, but
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that. From what I understand with the pick me's, right? It's a crazy term because
it is a
it
crazy term. That's a good and a bad thing, right?
yeah, because what
I'll
what
tell you
that
why
does,
I'll tell you why it's bad. It's bad because some pick me's are ex whores or they have a promiscuous past, and then they meet a guy like me. I got my, I I'm not gonna lie, I do well, and they see someone, brushed up, pretty doing decent in life, and they want to feed all. They're gonna agree with everything, but they don't really agree with it. They just saying it just to, make me feel, good about it, right? Those are the fake pick-me's. Then you have the real pick-me's who are the most difficult to find that are actually genuine good women. You
yeah,
know, those are the difficult ones to find. Now, I keep telling, like, I've gotten, in little arguments with my chats and on other podcasts and everything about this, right? Everyone like in very particular, the manosphere, red pill crap. This is why I don't like to associate myself too heavily on that with those guys. I'm like, remember, I told you I'm old school red pill. I'm like I said, I call myself a realist.
mm,
Everyone in those spheres, they like to shit on women quite a lot and saying all women are whores. That is a false statement. There's more great women than there are whorish women or even bad women. The problem is they're only getting their data in the big cities. What is outside big cities? Very simple thing. They have small towns. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good women outside big towns. Yeah, there's some good ones within the cities, but they're gonna be too busy trying to be boss babes and climb up the corporate ladder, which is the feminist thing mentality.
Well, do you ever watch the YouTube channel called It's Complicated channel?
I have, yes, I
Yeah,
know it's complicated.
he's
Yeah,
gone out to like the countryside, and I would argue some of those women still have the same mindset because you got
really.
yeah, and I'm not saying it's all, but I think that there's still we're in America, we're in a country that had feminism, so I think that branched out even to the countryside where women still think a certain way about men, but then it's like we gotta do everything, they do less kind of thing because the women. I think a lot of women, and again, not all, but I think most, even on the countryside, whether it's big city or countryside, I think they still have the same mindset when it comes to men because it doesn't change. They want a man to provide, be chivalrous and things like that. But if you tell them be submissive, they're just like up in the air about it. It's like it's just they go crazy, and
Funny you
it's like we're
mentioned
not
that.
saying. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's funny you mentioned that part on the submissive stuff. Well, how they blow up in arms. Where are they getting the information where that's a bad thing? Think about that. Social media,
Yeah,
Instagram, stuff like that. Kids have access to that shit when they're teenagers, for crying out loud. So they see all these things and they're like, "Oh my god, I can fly out, when I turn 18 to these Dubai things, right? These are small city, small town girls." Now, that is very scary because I truly believe social media has been nothing but poison, especially Instagram, OnlyFans, all this crap. It's been nothing but a poisonous mindset being fed from a feminist agenda, saying, whatever men can do, we can do better, kind of, thing. If men can sleep around, we can sleep around. More liberating, and all this crap. When it's going to backfire heavily when they get older, and men like you and I, we don't want to be with the run through girl. You know,
yeah,
that's just simple. Bio shit right there, right? We're not. I'm like, for example, me. I was in Chicago doing when my catching my very first like information for my podcast last year, and so I was just gathering information because if Chicago is very liberal there, and I was visiting my one of my best friends, and she took me to this art gallery, and so I met up with these her liberal friends. She's pretty liberal herself. I love her, but I'm gonna change that woman. And she uh she's like a sister to me. That's what I mean by I love her. But she oh yeah, so remember I don't do dating apps or anything. And but at the time I was doing an experiment on dating apps. So and I have a whole video on that as a matter of fact. Yeah, I think you would like it. I broke it down with all the dating apps that I can get on. I'm banned off Hinge because I was during Atlanta. When I was in Atlanta, I was kind of a whore, man. But during lockdowns, dude, I know, man. I don't preach degeneracy, guys. I don't fucking talk about that shit because it's not good. People are right. Don't Men should not sleep around, but it's a lot worse for women to do it. All right. But still, it's not good to do it because when you sleep around with all these women, guess what? They're gonna think it's okay, and then they can do it too. And then it's just a never-ending cycle. And then for men to do it, it's not a good thing. So, anyways, back to the Chicago thing. I was doing my my research piece, for one of my very first podcasts that I did on here, and I noticed that before I gave this girl my phone, she was asking me because I met some girl when I was on Bumble there. I like matched up with a whole bunch of girls, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take the prettiest one to this art gallery. Met her up, dressed really nice, and I look at her, I'm like, damn, she's pretty hot. I'm like, all right, let's see what kind of fun we got with this. Not sexual fun, just whatever. I go with the flow, man. So I have no expectations. That's another thing a lot of men need to do. Drop their expectations. Don't go in trying to get laid. Don't do that shit. You got to go, get pissed off and become an angry incel. I used to be one of those guys.
yeah.
All right. So I know how it's like. I've been there, done that. So anyways, I brought this girl there, we had a good time, and but for some reason she didn't have the personality. Yeah, believe it or not, I kind of care about, vibing with a girl. It's not all about looks, She was very gorgeous. She was like a Bulgarian chick, right? And her English was kind of terrible, but she just had her eyes on the prize. And it's not the money. But She was looking at me like some eye candy, man. Like she was, objectifying me, bro. I felt so offended. But anyways, realistically though, I kissed her goodnight. I haven't and never spoke to her again. I just, hey, I think we kicked it pretty well, but I think we're just better off not seeing each other, right? I was very respectful. I didn't do anything bad, but she cussed me out. Typical. So the girls that were there, the liberal friends, she's like, oh wow, that's a pretty girl. How come you didn't fuck her? I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to. Is that mandatory? Well, yeah, you brought a girl. She was really into you. I'm like, remember, it's a liberal mindset. They think degenerate behavior. If there's someone they're into you, you gotta have sex with them. If they're all over each other, they gotta have sex immediately, right? It's like, nah, man. Like, I have boundaries and standards, right? Like, I just can't deal with it. And then and then they're like, oh, you have Bumble and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll show you my thing. Mind you, I am good with the girl that's like a average girl, 5'6", as long as she's not fat.
Most men are,
bro.
Yeah, most men are,
bro. I'm good with a 5'6", nice teeth, not fat, feminine. That's it. I didn't say she has to be a supermodel. I didn't say she needs to be a CEO, or I don't even care if she goes to college. The lack of college education, the better. It is what it is, because they're indoctrinating feminism in college pretty heavily now. And it sucks. And that's why you see a lot of these women getting these useless degrees and they can't do anything with them. So they go on OnlyFans, or, they become liberals and start fighting for an injustice that doesn't really exist anymore, right? Women's rights, and then when this is my favorite thing I like to do when I press on feminists. What are you oppressed in today's world right now in the West? No answer whatsoever. They like to bring abortion. I'm like, that doesn't affect me, really. Keep abortion out. What are you truly oppressed about? Tell me what I can do to help your oppression out. I will wait. Nothing. You can do that with any feminist. They got nothing, bro.
Yeah.
That's the best, most simple argument. A lot of these podcast shows refuse. Well, there's sometimes they kind of do, but they're not straight like I am. I have no fucks to give. So I'm going to be very forward about it. And I think everyone should. I think you should too. If you ever debate a feminist and they like to play the oppression game, you're like, what are you oppressed about? I know you're like smarter and more intelligent, so you can do it in a more smoother way. Me, I don't care about your feelings. I care about the respectability, the respectable outcomes that we have between you and I, or me and whoever I'm debating, whatever. I'm not going to go cuss you out if we disagree on anything, because I don't take it personal. Everyone has a different mindset, right? So this woman, and like, she goes, I matched up with these girls, and she's looking at these matches, and she's like, wow, okay, you have a lot of, good looking girls on here, and you picked that one, but you didn't want to get laid. I'm like, and I see you have your standards. I literally had my standards, on there. She was offended because she's a fat, like, pink haired, feminist, right? And immediately she starts, she's like, oh, so I bet. So what if these girls said they don't like short Latino men? I'm like, I'm not that short. I'm 5'8". I'm average, but if they don't like me, I'm cool with that. I can't make a woman like me. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do nothing about that. They're gonna like me. They're gonna like me. If not, I'm not gonna push them. I'm not gonna simp like I used to. Oh, bro, I used to be an ultra simp.
I know what you mean. I was there too.
Bro, man, I'm definitely gonna ask you about your nature on that. But anyways, this girl just kept trying to argue with me on, like, well, what if she didn't like guys? She just kept saying, like, oh, if they don't like Latinos. I'm like, that's her preference. I am not gonna dog on a woman's preference. She's like, how much money do you make? I'm like, what does that matter? She's like, well, you have a Rolex and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, so what? It could be a fake. And then she's like, that ain't no fake, asshole. And I'm just like, well, it doesn't matter. I care about a personality, and I care about their feminine, their femininity. I do not care about what they do. Oh, so you wouldn't go out with like some CEO or a woman that makes more money than you? I'm like, I mean, I would, but I'm in a position where I can retire any girl that I'm going to be serious with. And if she happens to make more money than me, which is very rare, and guess what? I will just tell her, baby, you don't have to work anymore. I'll take care of everything. That's the position I'm in now.
I think most women would like that.
She did not like that. Yeah, she's like, women can take care of themselves. They don't need no man. I'm like, okay, who created your phone?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yep.
Oh, bro. And I'm like, hey, what what are we under right now? Can you name? Oh, it's a fan. Who built that fan? Oh my God, are you serious? She would go on Google. She's like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever. All right. What are you in right now? Warm inside of what right now? A house? Who built that house? I just kept pressing her. She was just like, you're so misogynistic and asshole, blah, blah. And she's cussed me. I was like, okay, I'm going to leave
Yep.
or I get shot. I was like,
they always lead to the ad hom because they have no argument every time.
bro, I'm telling you. So I ever since we were talking before I got cut off by them boys. I was talking about the COVID stuff, right? We were talking about the masking and stuff like that and being sued, which it failed for them, thankfully. Otherwise, I would have been really bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, the COVID vaccinations I promise it's all gonna square up right here.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna ask you some things and on that stuff too, because you brought that up earlier. And I was very much against vaccinations. I was like the only person fighting. No, there's another guy that fought against it, but I wasn't financially prepared to let go at the time or even leave. I was in a very tight position and I was living in Hawaii at that time. I moved from Atlanta to Hawaii. And I think that was the biggest career mistake I ever made in my life to this day. We're going to talk about that later on, or either today or some other time. But long story short, Hawaii in general is the most communistic state in all of America, in case you didn't know.
I've heard. Yes, I've
heard. Makes California look Republican, bro. When I try to go to local conventions there, to talk about things, they would just shut me down. They're so democratic and liberal there, bro. And all these damn bing bongs that can barely speak American in there were shutting me down, telling me I'm wrong on vaccinations. I'm like, dude, these are vaccinations that got pushed out within like a year. If a real vaccination takes over at minimum 2 decades, right? That's why we have these, our kids, being vaccinated with these long, tested out drugs and stuff like that. Even then, I'm still kind of iffy on that, That's just me. So I've been learning a lot about vaccinations, especially during COVID. And then as I was getting pressed, and to the point where one guy in my office, he fucking left. He was like, fuck this. No one's pushing this crap against me. He literally left, bounced. Me, I was the last guy standing with no vaccinations. And then manager came through and said, hey, you're going to get vaccinated or we're going to let you go. Unfortunately, I was under a tight money position. I probably could have quit, but I wouldn't have been as cushy as I am now. Put it that way. It just sucks that I got mandated to do that. And I felt crappy after every time. And that put a different outlook in my life getting vaccinated, to the point where I see a lot of people getting all these, strokes and different health issues after these vaccinations from healthy people, mind you. And then it gets me scared to the point where that's where I'm in a mindset that I am now, that I want to find a good woman, not these bad pygmies, but a good girl, which is a little bit difficult for me. But I know where I can find them, and it's not going to be at the bars. It's going to be at things that I tell people, I tell guys, I advise them, whatever your niche is, whatever you like. And I'm not talking about, if you like to drink, don't meet girls at bars, and don't, what is
Rolo Tomasi may disagree with you.
Huh?
Rolo Tomasi will disagree with you because somebody said that on Twitter, and he said that he met his wife at a bar.
That's an exception, dude.
That's what I'm saying. And I thought that was interesting, because if he's the exception, he's like, I met my wife at a bar. And I'm like, I thought you guys were all about it's the exception, but not the rule. And I was like, right. He totally just made the exception.
Right. It is what it is. But the thing is, you got to find your niche, whatever. Like me, I'm in IT conferences all the time. Like I fly out all the time to IT conferences and shit, because I hold them a lot and I speak a lot on cybersecurity for businesses, small business, big business, all this stuff. So when I do that, I actually meet women very seldomly, though. I don't know if you know about STEM. There are not too many girls, attractive women, when it comes to cybersecurity. There are some, but a lot. But what I am seeing is a little bit of slight growth in young college girls being interested. And what I preach, whenever they hear me speak, on these areas, they're baffled at the mere fact that they've been lied to about getting into not medical. And a lot of engineering, you don't need a bachelor's or maybe an associate's at best, right? And also in science, you definitely got to have at least mathematics, strong mathematical skills. But in technology, bro, you don't need for cybersecurity, you don't need a master's degree, 4-year degree. You do need certifications to prove
Mm,
your metal though. Those are
yeah,
tough. I have the toughest certifications that you can have. But all you have to do is just, put your mind to it and pass it. They're not gonna. I'm not saying they're easy. If you can put your mind to it, you can make it. And I also have a video on that helping out men how to get in cyber roles by going on within routes of networking or computer engineering, whatever. And then it all leads to everything in IT is always going to lead to cyber no matter what, because
mm,
everything needs protection that you're going to be working on.
yeah,
People don't realize that everything that you and I are currently on right now requires security. Right now, Rumble Studios requires security, but below security, what is below security? You got the networking. Okay. What about the hardware? You got to have security for that too. What about the programming? You got to harden up all that stuff, all security based that you and I are currently on right now. Not people don't realize that. People just think I'm going to be in cybersecurity and hack. Yeah, but you still need to know what kind of hardware, components you want to go through the firewalls and stuff like that.
yeah,
Anyways, I don't want to dive into too deep. My point is, men need to find their niche and what they, where they can find decent women. I'm not going to say all good women are in IT or nothing like that, but every man has their own niche, right? Whether it be like, I don't know, comic books, maybe, I don't know, car events, I don't know, boat events, whatever it is, as long as there's not a strong exposure to like really bad degeneracy, you know, that's what I would recommend, right? Maybe church, but I heard that's getting, vilified right now with the LGBT crap going on in churches. Girls, after being whores, they're finding themselves to God, stuff like that. That's kind of off, guard for me. I'm not saying all girls that go to church are whores. I'm just saying, just be mindful, fellas. But like me, I have been lucky enough, like recently, that I did find a girl at one of my conferences, a little bit older than what I expected. She's 28 and she's chill. I'm very slow with my, me getting to know people. I can't even call it a relationship, but she's a good girl.
What's the youngest you would go?
I would go 18's kind of pushing it. I would do ideally like 20. Because thankfully for me, if I shave my beard, which I don't like to do, I do look a lot younger. Like I do look a lot younger, and it throws a lot of girls off, and I like that. I'm not gonna lie, I take advantage of that quite a bit. Not like 20
You
years
shave the
old, but
beard.
like 27, in my 20s almost.
Yeah,
But thank God for the baby face, bro. But anyways, I would do 20 because I do want a big family, man. I noticed that the more kids you have, the more support you can have growing up when you're elderly. So you don't have to rely on some nursing home, And I'm a veteran. I get, disability and all that shit. So I can get all that shit for free when I, get old. But I don't want to rely on a not so good service that they don't really support so well within the government, right? The only thing that I take advantage of is that tax-free money I get every month,
mm,
for deploying multiple times to the most shittiest areas in the world that anyone could ever
mm,
be in.
okay,
So, having said that, I want to have a real family and bring upon, which I know you will like, Christian values and good morals within the family, which is what I have been learning about for quite some time, for about not that long, maybe like 2 years, right? Because I need to find God before God finds me. You got to have within a family structure. What I've been reading about is you got to believe in something and don't believe in yourself. You can believe in yourself in a certain way, but don't believe that you are a God amongst men. Can't do that. That kind of narcissistic behavior will not get you anywhere. I know. I used to
yeah,
be kind of like that when I started making the big bucks. And I was like,
mm,
wow, a lot of people hate me now. So, got to find something, the moral high ground, right? My morality right now is basing it off the future kids that I have. Remember, I told you about the vaccinations. I believe I don't have very much time left in this world. I used to do a bunch of fuckery back in my day. You know, I did the rock and roll lifestyle thing, back in the day, I'm not very proud of. And and when people ask me for advice and they ask me why I'm successful in what I do, I said, if you want to be in cybersecurity, you don't take the path that I do. Everyone has a different pathway to success, right? Do not go if you want to be in cybersecurity, be as great as you want, do it. My path was a little bit more difficult because I was an idiot. I take accountability for all the stupid idiocy that I did to be where I'm at. That's all. Every man in this world, including yourself, has their own footsteps to follow what the true meaning and what their true meaning is in life. Okay. And whether whether it's a lot of money or just being just right with the family, not even without a lot of money, but just living comfortably to have a family. That's what I shoot for. I'm not some billionaire or nothing like that. I do well enough to retire a girl and have I want 4 kids, bro. I want a minimum 4 kids. And I tell women that. And that's why it's a little difficult. Remember I told you about the fake pick-me's? They're like, oh my God, I want children too. And then they turn out to be so boring and dull. And then they just want to hook up, And I'm like, girl, come on, man, you're wasting my time,
Yeah.
And I don't like that shit.
They want to be just like men. They want to hook up just like men.
They're using me, bro. I'm like, come on, man. No, but like I said, I do have a very high sexual libido. I am, oh my God. Once I get comfortable with a woman, it's good to go. And you spoke about celibacy. It is very difficult. I have guys in my Discord, they shit on me quite a lot about this because they respect the fact that I don't promote degeneracy because I don't promote it.
Yeah.
I just have a problem that I just love women, bro. I just like women, not multiple women at once. All right. I'm not trying to get no STDs or anything. My little guy needs to be healthy at all costs. I promote finding a good woman to settle down with. And I'm not saying date 30 girls at once either. All right. I don't promote any of that crap. But the problem is what these guys are doing is on my Discord and even in my chat sometimes they shit on me because, oh, well, you have these sister wives in Colombia and, these other countries. You have girls there. I'm like, yeah, but, they're good girls. They're not hookers, I speak the language. I know how to get my way around out of the hooker areas, People don't understand that. And then I am trying to find a good woman and I'm not trying to give her a false dream, but an actual thing that I believe in, my moral, high ground, that I want family before I die. I truly believe the vaccinations took at least 10 to 15 years off my life. So I'm not trying to rush myself to getting a family. I want to do it with the right person in the right time. I'm not going to ever force that onto any woman ever.
You got the vaccine?
Huh?
You got the vaccine?
Yeah. Don't test me, bro.
I know. I was asking that.
I know, man. I got shit on quite a lot for that, but
yeah.
But in reality, it is affecting the health of a lot of people. And I told you I did a lot of bad things in my life that it affected my health. I was a very hard alcoholic leaving Korea. It was the best and worst year of my life. Best year because I learned the language. I learned how to, I learned how, the culture, the Korean culture is probably one of the best, cultures that I always recommend people to go to. I don't know how it is now. I heard it's a little, too westernized nowadays, unfortunately, like America, which I don't promote, the whole feminist, crap. But back then, everyone was so friendly with me, and I have nothing but love for the Korean people. And so what I'm saying is I'm not even going to try and, get a girl pregnant without me properly vetting her. People take their time, whatever. My timing is going to be different than other men. Me, I have trust issues with women because I was cheated on, and with the only serious girlfriends I ever had, and have trust issues, and also with the whole modern women going on right now, women are becoming whores and thinking it's okay. And that's difficult to do that. And then I don't want a girl in her 30s, and it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying women in their 30s can't have kids. I just want to have a big family to take care of me. That's my goal. I want a family to take care of me, that I don't have to be in a wheelchair just rotting away in a nursing home, right? I want at least one daughter and if I have all daughters, I don't care. I just want a nursing, loving family. That is all I ask for, to have the best values that I can instill upon that I did not get raised on. I'm not saying my mom was bad. My mom did her hardest. My mom never brought home random men. She never went out on dates. I grew up so poor that I had to lie to people about, living in these guest houses of these mansions. And my mom used to clean houses. So I would have to lie my way around to act normal like these other kids in neighborhoods, right? And so just to try and, fit in. But I was very poor, man. And I'm not trying to have that for my family. Now, mind you, I am gonna be very frugal. Right now, I'm living my life, the way I want. I'm buying my own shit, do whatever I want. I'm buying houses and but guess what? I don't have a car. My mom has a car. I bought her a few, now she wants a fucking G-Wagon, bro. I'm like, man, woman, you need to chill the fuck out. This woman is breaking me, bro. Like, you need to chill out with my money. Because I bought my mom her house. I bought her a car. My mom never has to worry about bills anymore for the rest of her life, as long as I'm alive.
That's cool.
I want men to reach that point. I'm not saying to buy their mom the biggest house. My mom is not in a big house either. It's comfortable enough that she's living very well. She's never going to see no more bills ever while I'm alive. That's what I want for myself. But I want and like I said, I want to instill the Christian values. I was raised Catholic, right? So, but the thing is, it's very difficult for a single mother working all the time, and I don't want that upbringing. So to vet a woman, it's going to take me quite a while. So that's why I want them young. You know what I mean? And then these older women, they start shitting on me. You've seen it all. They start shitting on guys like you and I because we have our standards. Apparently, men, it's illegal to have standards.
Well, and you're right about that too. They do. I think the problem is, and this is one of the biggest problems I think I have with the red pill space and men who watch it and regurgitate the same things. They're listening to like somebody like Myron. No disrespect to Myron, shout out to him, but they're listening.
I gotta give him a shout out too, man. But yeah, I disagree with a lot of this shit too. But I agree with most a lot though.
Yeah, there's things I definitely do agree on with Myron. The issue is that when he's you have men who, if I had to take a guess, that there's something that they're going through, that they're trying to live vicariously through these red pill spaces because they want to be able to own girls the way that they do it. So when they hear the information, they like it because they can resonate with it to some degree. And so they want to take that and then go own women as well in these spaces. And they're so misled because they think, well, I can go have sex, but a woman can't. You just regurgitating that. Like, why do you think men can go have sex, but women can't? Now, there is a distinction between the two, right? Sex is different between men and women. It really truly is. Women do often get more emotional, but then the problem with men is that they get too attached, in my opinion.
I know. I agree with that.
Yeah, so there's definitely a distinction. And just the biggest problem is that what's wrong with the red pill is that men are thinking that they can go be promiscuous and it's not a problem. But the red pill men like Myron or the Rolos or the whatever of those spaces, they're not there with those men while they're getting on with those women and say, don't you come in here or whatever the case. Sorry for my language, but they're not there. So those men, again, might get too attached. That's why I say it's just a problem when men have promiscuous sex, just like women, because if he gets her pregnant, no offense to you, but I'm saying men will often coerce women to get an abortion. You know what I mean? Or
I was like that. No, that's no offense taken. I was like that back in the day. I wasn't ready. I was a degenerate. I was going through that degenerate behavior. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then also too, they'll dip out from fatherhood, or if they even want the baby, she ends up killing her baby. So that happens too, that's why I say I think men and women should just wait until marriage, because you don't have to have sex with 50 women in order to know female nature.
It's so funny you brought that up too.
Yeah, because you were just telling a story earlier about you talk to women, you get rejected. I'm sure you got rejected by women that you didn't even have to sleep with. You just saw how she acted.
Oh yeah, I understand body language now, but it took me. It's not. I would consider a skill. It's just you have to read the body of the opposite sex. That's all. It's kind of like if it's not just with women, but even men too. You can tell if someone's uncomfortable with how someone speaks or how someone reacts to certain things, right? And you got to read the room, basically, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of men, they're seeking advice. I wouldn't. No, I'm not. You know what? That's a disrespect of men. A lot of these beta simp males are seeking advice from the wrong people. I've been telling people to seek advice not online, but who is the closest male cohort, whether it be an uncle, cousin, brother, maybe, that have some sort of good morals, values, and standards. Because in real life, you can actually see that.
Yeah.
Online, you can only hear but not see the proof. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they regurgitate all this information that these red pill guys are saying to them, and they think that's all right, like this dipshit Andrew Tate does, and they're snake oilsmen, snake oil salesmen, that's all they are. They're getting their money, and guess what? They just say, oh, for $800 we can get you laid, by doing this. It's like, no, man, you guys are going about it wrong. And
Yeah.
then if you don't have a proper male figure close to you as a male, then I don't know. Go to church. There's a lot of good men. There's better men in churches than there are apparently women, accordingly, to some people. But there are good men in churches still as well. Or go to your neighbor. Look at your blue collar workers.
Yeah.
If you want to seek advice from somebody, do it with someone that's always sociable. Look at car salesmen. Look at people knocking on doors. Someone like that. Maybe I'm going a little too broad on that, but I always say look at someone close to you, best friend even. That, guess what? I sought out my advice, not from my mom, obviously. She feminized me very much. But guess what? I became a different man from one of the guys I used to, hook up with whores all the time with, right? Guess what now? This guy turned a 360 around when he met his woman, his wife now, had a kid. They're on their third kid, bro.
Mm.
This guy, if you would have met him 10 years ago, you never would have thought in the day he would ever get married. He was running through chicks. He's a guy who would call whenever we would go to bars and stuff. He would be like, hey, you guys want to meet a taller, better looking version of me? Meet my friend here, Dreamy. That's what I was saying. I like to laugh, make fun of myself a little bit. It is what it is. But he's like a tall, dark, handsome guy. And not many women, if at all. I didn't see any women reject him. This dude was a stud. He can talk. He was like hooking up, whatever. But something changed in him as well. But he also was raised in a good family, nuclear family himself, which is confusing why he was being kind of a whore, promiscuous. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
yeah, see, and that's the thing. Just because having the two parents is better statistically, but sometimes those two parents can often not have value. So two parents is better outcome, but if those two parents, for the exceptions, don't have values in the home, then oftentimes you might see the mother leading the father, and that's what the children see. So I always say that if in the home, if the children see the mother love the husband, the children would love the father and follow his
yes,
way.
that's
But
how
if they see
his
it the other
family.
way around, then they're
Yeah.
gonna think that, oh, the dad's always taking heat from the mom. And then that's when they kind of get that, that empowerment. My mom always stood up to my dad, and then they get older and think that, men should treat them a certain way based on what they saw their mom do in their homes. The mom led, but the father didn't. So
Yeah, I agree, and that's how his mom and dad are. Oh man, they're like the greatest people, and they had like I think 7 kids total, right? Like he has a set of twin brothers that are younger than him, but they all look alike. It's so crazy. Like everyone in the family, even his sisters, it's so weird. But they were raised properly, nuclear family, religious, and everything, and that's why I was confused, like why he was running through girls, and during our Air Force days and shit. But now he's happily married. He can never go back to that kind of life. He can't even dream of it. You know why? He has that morality of raising that. He has that nuclear family mentality that he was raised with. That's what he wants his kids with. He's gonna have 2 daughters and 1 son. It's so gonna be great. I'm begging that his next baby, is gonna be born someday close to my birthdays in June. That's the expecting date. I'm like, oh my god, I hope we have the same birthday, right? So, anyways.
yeah.
Whole point is that's what I want. And guess what? He's the guy I look up to in my life, believe it or not. Because I didn't have any, I told you I had my stepdad, but it was too late because he passed away. So I couldn't seek guidance from him at the time. I was still seeking myself out in that. And like what I can do better in society at the time, right? So he is the closest thing that I can somewhat, mimic and, have a blueprint of what I want, right? I did go online though. I was a very big red pillar like these guys are now, right? I was super like shitting on all women all the time too. I was so bad, bro. Like I was very simpy incel, as well. But I would act like, I'm so alpha when I was the most beta bitch, that I was something I wasn't, and I just had to change my mood and turn around a lot in my lifestyle. And I realized this is not gonna make me happy. It's gonna make me angry. And I was very against kids and the family, structure of things. But when
Mm,
I saw how my best friends are doing it, all my best friends almost all have kids now. I'm like the last one standing, you
mm,
know, but they all have good wives, except minus two of them. But they're all bringing up families. They have kids now. They just have, as a joke, they all call me gay Uncle Berto because I don't bring women around. All right. Because I'm not gonna bring some random chick to to these birthday parties that they invite me to. The hell, man. Even the kids, even those damn kids
that's
are calling me
funny.
gay Uncle Berto, bro. I'm like, hey,
That's
how's easy
funny.
there, fucker. I mean, I don't cuss at
Yeah.
kids, but I'm like, God damn it, Joey. Why is your kid calling me a faggot, dude?
Yeah.
But anyways,
That's insane. Yeah, that's
it's funny.
insane.
It's funny. I don't care. It's whatever. But anyways, the that's the best way, like I said, to actually learn real morality of people close to you. What you see online is not real. Like if you want to seek advice, seek it like do it whenever you know it's for free, for crying out loud. If you see someone trying to sell some bullshit online, Google it. Like you can Google everything, literally. Like anything Richard Cooper does, Rollo Tomasi, everything is Googleable, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally is. But you can't Google like personal skills, personality traits. That's already stems in here. You have to actually do something about that, and the best way to do it is become, more social outside because becoming online is becoming a poisonous act upon young men growing up. They're
Yeah.
looking up to the worst people online, not like you who believes in God, not like me who has gone through a lot of shit in their life to become a success story. Like I'm ready to give people free advice. Guess what? I'm a pretty proud person opponent on this. I pay people to change careers.
Mm,
I pay out of my pocket for people that seek career change and they want to be in IT. And I had to give them straight facts though. You're not going to be a millionaire in IT. The reason why I have money is because I got lucky with real estate years ago. All right.
mm,
So I have real estate. I'm doing decent on that, but not exactly retirement yet. But I have a goal and my passive income I'm trying to reach. I'm probably not going to reach it until like maybe another 5 years. But anyways, that's for another story.
yeah.
But the point is, you don't have to be a millionaire to be, decent with women or anything. It does help to be comfortable though, to show a woman that you can provide. That I agree with what these red pillars are saying, right? We can agree with that. You got to be able to provide your family. You got to be able to provide, but you can't go out looking for the girls that are so high end, go after like the average girls that, that haven't been ran through. I know that's a little bit difficult to find, but there are girls that already give off, kind of like the shyish vibes that haven't been through. Get the girl that doesn't know what Instagram is or knows what Instagram is, but doesn't ever mess with it, right? Get the girl, that doesn't know very much about, getting flown out in different spots, Those are the girls that you want to look for. Unfortunately, that's a little difficult. Look for a girl at Target. That's what the thing is. Like, there's a lot of good looking women that work at least, department stores and stuff like that. You don't have to go after the club rat or, the bar, lounge
Yeah.
girls or whatever. Yeah, they're nice to look at, but sometimes they have expectations because they work at these places. They already have unrealistic expectations because of what they see. They see these guys rolling up in Ferraris and crap. You know what I mean?
Well, I
And
mean, it depends too, because even the chicks at Target, I mean, like it might be a little more wholesome, but I think because I remember
that
one
was just
time.
an example, by the way. Target.
No, no, no. I totally get what you're saying. I just wanted to add that, like, you're not wrong that places like Target, things like that, like a grocery store, like there are some wholesome women, but still be careful with that too, because I remember, again, this is my experience. I'm not saying it's the end all be all,
Right.
but I remember I met this woman one time who used to come by Starbucks, and I ended up seeing her at Target, and I was like, "Oh, hey, you come to Starbucks?" And then we exchanged numbers, we hung out. She was cool, um, but I can just tell things are moving too fast. And I was like, "Yeah, it's." Once I got to know her, I was like, "She's cool, but man, we're just going way too fast." She's like doing these type of things, like things I was like, don't do that, it was one of those things. And so, but again, that's what happens when you do things before marriage, you know what I mean? So that always tends to go downhill. So again, if you do meet somebody at a Target, or you meet somebody at like a, Trader Joe's, something like that, get to know them, and you can hang out with them. Just leave out the sex stuff. Leave out anything romantic that's going to lead to sex. You can get to know her. You can give her a hug at the end of the date, say goodbye, but leave out all that kissing things. Leave all that stuff
Oh
out.
man, I'm Latino, bro. I always kiss on the cheek first, no matter what.
Well, I mean,
Help myself.
if you can, to the best of your knowledge or to your degree, just leave that stuff out, man. Like, you get to know her, because somebody asked me last night. They said, how long should people date before they decide to get married? That's a good question, because some people see like a month, they see 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I would say give it at least a year. Here's the reason why: because you want to know the ins and outs. You want to know how she is when she's around you, when she's around your family, when she's around your friends, when she's around strangers, pets, whatever the case may be. You want to just see how she is in the environment. When you bring her to certain environments, like you bring her to like a concert event, or you gotta go to the movies, or you go for a walk in the park, how was she like on the outdoors? You want to kind of understand that, to know if she's somebody that you can really, connect with, and things like that. You just go on one date with her and act like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then 1 month later on, you're saying marry me, and then you get married, you got all these problems because you didn't vet her properly. So I think people should just vet people properly, and I just say give it to up into a year, because within that year you're busy anyways. You got to go to work, you got to take care of this, you got to take care of that. To shove all that to the side for one person, and then, like, so quickly, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not saying there are exceptions, but I think for the most part, you should just give it at least a year, just to see how they are, and then let them know that, listen, I like you, but I don't want to have sex until marriage. And if she's like, oh, and starts talking to you less, then you know she's not the one, because she wants you to sleep around. Because some people think that they'll find love through sex, but sex is not love.
I actually agree there. This coming from a very, like, sexually addicted man. Um, by the way, like, when it comes to that, I definitely, I'm not like a guy, that pushes it either. Like, I always make the girls make the first move. It's pretty. I have. It's not like a pickup thing. It's not like a trick I do. It's just, I just know, when a woman is ready to sleep with me. It's just, men have that instinct, when they're ready or not, and I just happen to pick it up quick.
Yeah.
And
If
then
she has
and
high
then
attraction to you, anytime, I don't condone this, by the way, but anytime she has high attraction to you, it's most likely that she's going to let you sleep with her. I had somebody last night tell me that women will have sex with men in order to, like, keep them. That very well may be true, but she has to have the high attraction to you. That's why she'll sleep with you, because you're so attractive. You got these things going on, your own place, your own job, your own money, all that stuff. She sees security. So in her misguidance, she'll sleep with you to keep you. Do you know what I mean? So that's why women will tend to give up their bodies, because they want to solidify that man. And so, but she has to have a high attraction to you in order to do that. Now, again, I don't condone it. People should wait until marriage. But if she does have a high attraction to you, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Maintain that by being civil and be honest with her. Hey, I like you too, but I want to wait until marriage, 'cause I want to really get to know you. If she's like, ugh, and that just goes away, then she ain't the one.
yeah,
Simple as that.
I agree. Man, we spoke way too much on that relationship stuff, but I want to close it out on one thing on that part, and before I move on to something else that I definitely want to get into with you. Um, Whenever I got all these notes. How about emotional men? You mentioned this with Angela Knight, all right? I saw that interview with her. I like Angela. I think her and I have spoken offline many times. I was on her show a few times. Um, and I think she means well, very aggressive though. I understand her perspective on a lot of things because she was getting dunked on when she tried to be part of the red pill space, you know. She got pretty fucked over by a lot of these guys by shitting on her, right? Um, but and she started seeking her own route to the point where she doesn't even make content anymore. Um, I always respect Angela. Uh, I don't really. I do have a lot of disagreements with her on a lot of things, but doesn't mean I don't respect her or like her as a human being. This one thing that you guys brought up in the convo is how she walked away from the red pill space because all these men were just extremely like I spoke this a little bit with you. All these angry incels would just be trashing her. Why is a woman trying to give men advice and crap like that? And the one thing that that really caught me off guard was the fact that she still defends a lot of these feminist narratives or, mainstream media narratives. That's a big thing that I have a huge disagreement with her on. For example, you guys were talking about the Steven Crowder's wife, thing going on, how now we know in full context, she cut that shit up to make herself look like the victim. It just sucks that video was like 8-9 months ago with you and Angela. If only you guys did that now, oh man, it'd be a different story. But that was one thing. She's very defensive when it comes to women's stuff like that. It's a very feminist trait that she has, and I don't like that at all. She's very argumentative. And the way you handled yourself, which is what I respected most about you. You stood to your point and ground. You're very well grounded with that. Me, I'm like you see how I am. I'm extremely aggressive. So she didn't like that approach at all with me whenever I was online when she was questioning me on my methods. Like, for example, when she questioned me in regards to bullying, we have, men and women think differently, right? Me, I think we should bully kids. I believe in bullying. Otherwise, we're going to have these entitled little assholes, becoming adults who have never been punched in the face or never even because they always participated or they always had participation trophies. They think they're special no matter what anything they do. And they're not. There ain't shit. Like, look at these content creators making 30 times more money in one video in one day than what we're making over the most dumbest vile crap that they can ever say. Like Sneeko, Aiden Ross, and all these guys, right? They don't provide anything to society. You have more to offer in this one thing, this video, than I have ever seen of all their crap. I don't watch any of their crap. I try to get into it so I can study them.
I would disagree with the Sneeko thing. I disagree with you with Sneeko because I was actually watching Sneeko when he was on YouTube. When he was on YouTube since he was like 13 years old.
I know he was a Call of Duty guy.
Right. And so I watched a lot of his old content and the content that he was doing in the time of 2019. And I thought he made artistically, I thought he made some really great stuff. Like he had really good content. Think he was more moderate. I think he's leaning a lot more towards where he's at now, but he seemed a lot more moderate, like more independent back then. And I think he made pretty good content, especially when the COVID stuff happened. He was like really seeing because you can tell that no one had to tell him something. His eyes were open based on his own observation. And that's what I actually like about Sneeko.
Actually, yeah, I was about to say that. The only thing I can agree with Sneeko is he does his homework. He's not an idiot. He is smart. I have to give him that. I'm talking about the degeneracy, stuff.
Yeah, anything he's done. Yeah, if he's done that, obviously I hope he knows he's wrong. I hope he's not still having sex with women before marriage. I hope he's not doing that. If he is, he would be degenerate based on that. But I don't know. I can't say whether or not he is. I don't.
Yeah, I can't either. But
he may be talking to women, but I don't know if he is doing that. If he is, I think he should overcome that. I know recently he just was in the boxing match with
bro,
yeah,
that was dumb. You don't.
No, I honestly respect him for that. I have nothing but respect for him because the fact that he chose. Look, let me give you the equivalence. It's not the same, but let me show you. So there's this dude named Parker on TikTok who does debates. He has like 3,000 people watching, maybe sometimes more. I hopped in on that debate because he had a question about should body count matter more for women and not men. And me going into that debate, mind you, Parker's not like this big famous dude, but he's definitely known on TikTok, from what I understand.
I
And I
never heard of it. I
hopped
don't
in
have
that,
TikTok, so
yeah, I hopped in that debate thinking that I was gonna, knock it out the park, but I was just so like I got what do you call it, like blindsided because he wasn't arguing from that position. He just asked the question, so he has no stance, which is pretty smart. So I see that same thing with Sneeko. He went into a match with somebody that's obviously really, really good, and people see he getting knocked around and think, oh, he got beat up and da, da, da. And I'm like, but he never fell. He never fell. He kept his feet on the ground. I respect that, and that's a manly thing to do. It's men get in the ring, we do stuff like that's how you get. You talk about bullying, right? If that in the if you want to, it's not bullying, but look at that situation where Sneeko goes into that ring and he's trying his best to stand on on 2 feet, and he does. Never gets knocked down. He's not complaining. He's not crying about it. He's taking it like a man. And what do women always tell us? Take it like a man. And Sneeko did that. And I noticed that a lot of women were like, "Oh, I don't like this. This is bullying." All the men were like, "I respect it. Kudos to Sneeko." And it really exposed the difference between male and female. Women are more nurturing, they're more emotional. Men are more logical. Like, yeah, I respect Sneeko. So I respect him for doing that. I mean, he stepped into the lion's den and he took it like a man. He's fine. He's okay. He's not dead. No broken ribs. The guy's all right. So
I guess you want to,
I
from your
got respect for
perspective,
him.
I just personally don't. I boxed my whole life, and I'm not scared of any man. But let me tell you, John Jones, Sean Strickland.
No, there's some scary dudes for sure. I'd say that. But at the same time, I thought it was cool. Like I thought it was cool that he did that. Was it dumb? I don't know. Maybe, but I got respect for him. He did something that most people wouldn't even dare to do. It's like somebody going bungee jumping or flying out of an airplane. Most people won't do
I do
it.
that all the time. I love it.
Oh well, well, most won't do it, but
And I'm just with you. Yeah. I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. I like to flyboard and shit like that too. You ever heard of flyboarding?
no. Well, is that where you jump out of the airplane, but yeah, like the little snowboard?
No,
Thing?
it's not. It's not jumping out of any airplanes. It's a board. It's like a wakeboard that's has about a 50-foot long tube attached to a jet ski, and you do tricks. And stuff in there. It's
Exactly like
flyboarding.
that. Okay. Give me 1 second. My curtain's open and the sun's like
No,
beaming
go
hot.
ahead.
Hang on.
How's everyone in the chat? Everyone enjoying this talk? Don't worry, we're gonna switch subjects here real soon, guys.
Yeah, I do have to run pretty soon. I got my show in 2 hours.
Okay, yeah. No, this is good. I just have so much notes. Damn.
Fire away.
All right. I'm gonna try and make this as quickly as possible. So I want to talk to you about a little bit on the political side, right?
Okay.
What I want to speak on the Jordan Neely chokeout. You had a video on that. Whenever that came about, right? I'm already pretty based on that. And then everyone, all the black folks saying, "Oh, he was attacked," and he shouldn't have been killed, and all this crap. I do believe in law of self-defense. If he's not tapping out, maybe he went a little too far with it. I would have just broken an arm personally. Maybe that would have stopped him. I didn't like. He's really big, Jordan, but the kid wouldn't shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna say, like he just would not like. Did he get deserved? What is it? Deserve justice? I don't think so. But if he's gonna keep threatening other people and the dangers of other people, something's got to get done. If the cops are not gonna do anything.
Yeah, there's definitely more to that story. Real quick too, I just want to give. You spoke about Angela. I just want to give a shout out to Angela. Shout out to Angela. God bless her, and I hope she's doing well.
I hope so too, man. I like Angela, man. her and I
Yeah,
have spoken a lot offline on a lot of things, and I respect her a lot, man. I think she has more balls than half these dudes, and she speaks her mind. And even though we disagree on a lot of things, but I'm not. We actually agree on more actually than anything. And
yeah,
then if you go to her channel, her and I spoke very deeply on a lot of things. And I have to apologize. I brought her two heavy red pill chicks. She did not like. She
yeah,
said she wanted more girls. I knew two girls, and yeah, it didn't work out. So I was like, all right, my bad.
yeah.
I'll take the blame on that. But anyways, yeah,
No,
for
no, she's
sure,
cool. Yeah.
Angela's the
So,
shit.
um, yeah. So with Jordan Neely, the issue is that this, and this is one of the problems that we have when stories like this happen, is that we know that New York, it's a very liberal state, sanctuary for illegal aliens. They support abortion, all this stuff. When it came to Jordan Neely, what happened was that this is a guy who, once was a decent dude and lost his way, especially after I believe like his mom died. So he definitely lost his way. But even though he lost his way, the mental illness, things like that, when he goes on the subway and he's threatening people and saying, I'm going to kill whoever basically like in my way, essentially, like to paraphrase, that does put people in danger because you don't know what the next move is going to be. And the problem that people had was saying that Daniel Penny went too far. But if this is a guy, if the police are not going to do anything, and he's going around saying, I will kill you, and witnesses are, what do you call it? What's the word I'm trying to look for? They're, I can't think of the word, but they confirmed, for lack of a better word, they confirmed that he was threatening people, saying, "I will kill whoever." Right, and there are people that disagree with me who were saying he didn't say that, and I showed the CBS footage or that said that he actually said that. So for Daniel Penny to do what he did, all he did was just stop somebody that was going to hurt people. Matter of fact, there was a black woman, an elderly woman, who said, I appreciate Daniel Penny for doing that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known what Jordan Neely would have done. So all these black people who got mad at Daniel Penny are overlooking the fact that an elderly black woman whose life was in jeopardy or could have been in jeopardy was saved by somebody who stood up and fought for those who couldn't fight for themselves. And that's what people tend to overlook. They just see race and go, well, he's white. But if the roles were reversed, they'd be saying, yeah, get that white man. But because the white man does it, it's, oh, he's racist. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like that. They play the race card very heavily in mainstream media, obviously. What they don't show is the actual crimes in the cities themselves. They only show white on black crime. They don't show the actual statistics heavily in the black communities, Latin communities. They're like the worst communities, and Latinos are getting really bad now. God damn it!
Yeah. And
It's really bad.
if you notice, anytime that happens, they're always trying to show the most innocent picture of that person, of the black person who committed the crime, to prey on your emotions. They did it with Trayvon Martin, they did it with Mike Brown. They do that all the time. Even with
And
George
and who
Floyd.
else? Come on,
Uh
you're missing one name, George Floyd.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, even with George Floyd, to try to find the most innocent looking picture, they couldn't. But you know what I mean. But to try to find the most innocent looking picture to say, "Oh, he was a good dude." Now, I will say, have defended George Floyd. Here's the reason why: because after his death happened, there was a video that he did on YouTube. I don't know if it was from his page, but it was some video that he did, and it was him saying that the youth is different than what it was back in the day, that the youth is going in the wrong direction. So I actually defended him because I talked about the George Floyd situation, and I was like, well, this dude was on drugs, he wasn't cooperating with the police, and there's a lot more details that have come out. I'm not saying Chauvin was right for what he did, but I'm saying that if George Floyd, if he would have just stayed in the back of the truck in the police car, he would have been fine, off to jail, whatever the case may be, but he wasn't. And so, but after his death, I put on Facebook, I was like, hey, I actually agree with George Floyd by saying that the youth is changing. They're getting in a lot more trouble. And people still got mad at me. They was like, you don't care about that. I'm the only one talking about this. You don't care about it. Why am I talking about this, but you're not? So it's like, because I did my research. Do you know what I mean? So
This is why
it's
you're more
bizarre.
intelligent than me. You know how to get the good research that a lot of people lack doing. They just want to see what they hear only, and they just go by that narrative. They don't want to go in deep dives. So, but continue. Well, I'll definitely
Yeah.
have something to say on top of that.
Yeah, yeah, and so because I do think it's important, whether it's white, black, Hispanic, whoever, you always want to just do your research on the person that either got arrested or even whether it's the cop, even with like school shooters, you want to just do your research. Like for example, you look at the school shooter, I believe it was what state was that?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tennessee. Even with the school shooter, the manifesto is talking about white people, calling it like just all this bull crap. Nothing to do with racism. They're just hateful toward white people. This was a white person, and they identify as non-binary. So, for like the Biden administration to say things like, trans people are, they're oppressed, whatever the case may be. You have a non-binary that's going out and doing stuff, but you won't hear Biden administration condemn that. They'll play the victim card and say we need trans visibility. It's so stupid. But
It's not.
people look at that and think, oh yeah, they're right. Trans people are so oppressed. Well, are you going to condemn the non-binary that shot up kids?
Yeah, it's just very simple logic, don't you think? Like, no kids should be in the way of bullets from another person shooting up
Yeah.
a fucking gun. That's all there is to it. That pisses me off as well. But the issue is when it's part of this woke bullshit. If you notice, I know because you know this stuff better than me. Anytime it has to do with LGBTQ or even blacks, Latinos, that's only in the news for like a day, maybe a week at most, and it stops. They go on to attacking something else that has nothing to do with that crap just to get it off the news airs everywhere. You
Yeah,
notice
and
that?
the disingenuous. Let me give you an example. So the Biden administration was last year, and I actually talked about this on my stream. The Biden administration, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she said that within 2023, there was about, I think, like 20 or 30 trans that were killed. And she made it seem like they were killed because of what they identify as. And I looked into that. I said, okay, let me look into it. So I
Suicides.
looked at all the yeah, I started seeing all the ones who were killed. Every single one of them who were killed, every single transgender or non-binary who were not killed because of what they identify as. One of them got hit by a car. One of them was domestic violence. One of them had a gun. Like it wasn't like people were against them. They were involved in things themselves. They themselves were violent towards people. Or one got hit by a car, and the car, it was like a hit and run kind of thing, which has happened to a lot of people. But Karine Jean-Pierre made it seem like they were killed simply for being trans, and that's the most. I mean, if you cannot see that is a bold-faced lie, and I did a stream on it. I was hoping my stream would get a lot more engagement. Cause I want everybody to see that. It's like she's lying to your face
Can you
that
give
they
me
were
the link to
killed.
that? Can you give me the link to that, and I'll put it in the description for you guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I get some pretty heavy hits on here, surprisingly.
yeah, yeah.
Find it for me, or I can find it while I'm here. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's there. You'll probably see it. 'Cause I think I had it. It should be on the stream where I said so much news, and it shows Chauvin, it shows Karine Jean-Pierre, the Tennessee. I think it's something like that, but I think it's that one that says so much news because that's where I talked about it at, and I was giving my message to the LGBT community, right? I was saying, listen, I disagree with homosexuality 100%, but you guys have to understand that these people don't care about you. They will use you to benefit them. They will use you so you can vote for them. They're going to tell you that these trans people were killed simply for what they identify as, and it's just not true. A lot of them are not killed because of some hate crime. It's just not true. They were involved in domestic violence. They were involved in car accidents. They themselves were violent. That's the truth. So it wasn't like they were just killed because of who they were and for who they are. And for the press secretary to tell the American people that and bold-faced lie like that, you have to understand that if they're willing to lie to you about that, imagine everything else on a bigger scale.
Jesus. It's because they have a narrative that they have to push because of money. Money's always involved. For example, with Elon Musk going on right now, I held my first ever X Space with the more up and coming famous Wei 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 Wu. Waylu,
Mm,
the troll that she's been shitting on Mark Cuban for DEI.
interesting. Okay, I don't know who she is. I'm not familiar with
Oh,
her.
I'm pretty sure it's a troll account, but she's growing in popularity pretty hard. Like
Mm.
she's like the Hodge twins even found her, and they've been retweeting her. And
Oh wow.
she's like a fake. She claims to be Chinese, obviously. And I happen to be coming off. You ever heard of decisive content
Nuh-uh.
or divisive content? Excuse me. He's a pretty base guy. You would like him. I would definitely like you to speak with him. He was in my chat earlier too. Really very knowledgeable man, just like you. Knows more than me, thank God. I don't like bringing people dumber than me. That is a very bad conversation to have.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, uh, the whole thing, the whole DEI shit. What I made a mention is which is true because I delve in really deep on the whole communistic ideology and where it stems from how long ago has it been, being rooted within American lives, right? It's
Yeah.
been rooted since the fucking 30s, bro.
Yeah.
And
Well, anybody that follow, I mean, I look, who, not saying this all, not trying to be mean, but there are some people who are behind this who follow the Talmud. And unfortunately, those people are Jews who follow the Talmud. Those who follow the Talmud are pushing degeneracy into our society, homosexuality. I'll give you a good example. You look at the feminists back in the day, like Betty Friedan. She was a secular Jew who believed in homosexuality, equal rights, and things like that. And the only reason why she fought for equal rights in the first place was because she got divorced by her husband and didn't see nothing from it. And so she felt some type of way and then wanted to go fight for all women who ended up in her case. So she wanted special rights. So that's what I'm saying. When these secular Jews have these what do you call it? These non-values, right? They're very immoral people. They're pushing this stuff into our society. If you look at a lot of the things, like you look at YouTube, right? The CEO, Susan, what's her last name?
I don't know. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, she's a Jew. You look at the whole CDC department. They're mostly Jews. I'm not saying that it's all Jews. I'm saying that there are secular Jews that have a horrible agenda on the American people. It's the same thing with like Black Lives Matter, right? They're Marxists. And matter of fact, with Black
Yeah.
Lives Matter, they were actually trained by a Jew, Eric Mann. So
I know. When I saw that Candace Owens deep dive into that really opened up my eyes. I already knew they were kind of a scam, but the way she did her journalistic, stance on that, brilliant.
yeah.
Like
I
I,
would even argue, yeah, and she has a bigger platform to do it. Even before she did that documentary, I was on it. Like I looked into Black Lives Matter and I
I did see
found
a
out.
video on that on you. I didn't watch it though. So
Yeah, it's interesting because they I was on the website back in 2020 and I found out that they had a thing called Act Blue, where if you give them money, it goes to Democratic politicians. And then if you dive deeper, they're connected to China. So they're giving their money to the CCP, which is very, very interesting stuff. And I called it out back in 2020. It's somewhere in my tweets back in that time, but I found it out just by doing a deep dive. And then once they got exposed for saying that they follow Marxism, they want to destroy the nuclear family, they took that website, at least that part of the mission, down and changed it all up. I don't know if the website is still up. It might be, but that was their mission. And it was like that even here in my city in Sacramento. There's a chapter BLM believe in the same things, and the money went to the same places.
yeah, I agree. And also what I was bringing up with this Wei Wu chick, is like one of the best trolls right now on X.
Mm,
Uh, I happen to be the first person ever to hear her voice. And remember, she at the time she only had like 50,000 followers. So whenever she posted up right after my interview and link up with divisive content, it was like midnight, here. And I don't know where she lives or she lives, whatever,
mm.
bro. She said, whoever I cannot make a space, X spaces right now. Whoever hosts, invite me. So I'm like, oh, let's see if this person is real. Sure enough, I did it, bro. I had like 3,000 people immediately come in my very first X space, right, as a host. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit! Like, and then what we were talking about, though, as much as I like to talk about trolling, we were talking about the real root of why this was happening. She trolled Mark Cuban. If you're not familiar with all his bullshit,
Yeah, the
his
whole
stance
DEI
with
thing.
DEI.
Yeah.
So the reason why he can't go against it is because he's a billionaire. He doesn't want to be a millionaire.
Mm.
He doesn't want to lose that B, bro. He loses that B, it's game over for him. So he's got to keep, they're paying him. That's why he's not against it. And in his arguments that he's making with the rabbit hole, I'm like, I'm loving that guy, that user. Him and I were chatting too. Cool guy.
Oh, rabbit hole on X. Yeah.
He follows me. Same with Penny X too.
Nice.
Just because of the Way Woo stuff, and they invite me into their spaces because I was very active as well. I was like trolling. I was going along with the trolling too. I was like, yeah, I'm a minority too. And I deserve to be on the NBA team getting paid $15 million a year too for DEI purposes. Not because I'm 5'8", and not very athletic, but because I deserve because of my skin tone. All right. You want to accept me, Mark Cuban, even though he doesn't own the Mavericks anymore, but we need to speak to the Mavericks, and all this stuff. That's how it started. And then Mark Cuban was going back and forth with this chick, and he ended up blocking her. But other people, the other big content X creators, they were going along with it and then calling Mark Cuban out. So it kept going. And then Mark Cuban can't, block every single big content guys. So he kept going and going. And Mark Cuban is just digging himself a bigger hole than he could, get himself into, to the point that Elon Musk went in the conversation saying, the mere fact that you are not disowning DEI means you are definitely whoever your donors are. Well, I guess keep agreeing with their bullshit or, something like that. Right. It was insane, man. I actually met Mark Cuban over 10 years ago. I met him in Chicago. I was there on like a business trip. I didn't even recognize him at first. Cool guy in person. This is before, I was a bit of a wokey then. But I wasn't so politically minded like you and I are now.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. We had like a drink and then, we left. The reason why we stood next to each other is because one of my clients used to be working with him or something like that. So he introduced me to Mark Cuban. I'm like, the Mark Cuban, or is this some like actual Cuban dude that called himself Mark? Like, give me some context here.
Yeah.
And I don't get really starstruck or anything. I just like, he's just a normal guy, like I don't. Who would I get starstruck for? I don't know. Probably Michael Jordan. That's it. And or what my favorite soccer player of all time is either Paolo Maldini or a phenomenal Ronaldo, the Brazilian. Probably the only people. But anyways, it all makes sense though. Whenever these big corporate, CEOs and stuff like that, they are being bought out. When the mere fact is they're not disowning the payouts by the Jews, because everything circles out to them because George Soros. George Soros, everybody, Larry Fink, on BlackRock, we're talking about, they're the snakes, Carl Schwab, we're talking about those head honchos. But the problem is, even though they're the head of the snakes, there's so many underneath them that are really running the show. It's not even the World Economic Forum now is not even the main entry door anymore. That is just the face. What the problem is finding out the entities that spread out all this bullshit. Because guess what? They're now into our retirements in Wall Street, Vanguard, everything, dude. They're into the government contract companies, which is why, I got pushed into that, the COVID vaccination, otherwise I was getting fired from my livelihood. Dude, it all made sense. It didn't at the time when I was, into these situations. It took me some time to figure it out. But the thing is, when you are not allowed to speak politics unless it's only left, that's an issue. Yeah. When I was in Hawaii, I worked with a bunch of like white dudes, and they're pretty like older guys. I thought they would be pretty, based like us, kind of conservative leaning, right, Republican. God damn, can you hear my dogs?
Yeah, I can hear in the background.
Hey, dogs. They're barking to get out. So we'll wrap this up real soon. So I'm gonna have to put them down if they keep barking like that. I'm just kidding. I love my girls, man. So the thing is, it all made sense. I didn't start, putting all the pieces together, right? Until after, not only am I not allowed to speak even moderate, right? Like the most moderate thing you can think of something moderate that you could think, that's like, unbiased, between the two, right? I don't know. I can't think right now for it. Like, give me one example of something moderate.
Like something like very simple, like you mean like LGBT or something like that?
No, not even. Like I'm talking about like something that the left and agree, bipartisan type thing, like
I mean,
bipartisan, thing that people.
mandates. I would say mandates. Most people were on board with not having mandates for vaccines.
Wrong. Not unless you work in government sector. Everything was mandated.
Ooh, that's true. Well,
I know
yeah,
it was working for them.
you're right. You're right. I mean, the locals were not for it for sure because we had a rally here in January back in 2022, and there were like thousands who came out. Democrats, libertarians, they all came out, and even far left came out, and it was like, yeah, we're against the mandates. So,
Okay. Let's talk about that then. So when I spoke against that before, they did my black ass into getting these damn shots because I was the last one doing it. The guys, the older guys, these are like 60-year-old men, super smart guys. I actually really like them a lot. Their work was phenomenal. I learned a lot from these guys too. But when it comes to like politics, as soon as I said something about like I don't want to wear this stupid ass mask, holy shit, they would get on my case, bro.
yeah,
And they're like, you're gonna get us killed and shit. I'm like, bro, chill. This is a flu, bro, man. But damn, as soon as I didn't spoke, out loud of me supporting Trump, but they had an idea. But then whenever I said something remotely, conservative, they're like, bro, Trump's a racist. He doesn't like your kind. I'm like, when the hell did he say he's racist? You don't realize he's in like the most diverse area of like New York? How can he be racist, you idiot? Well, he treats Latinos like shit. He tells them, clean their toilets. That's stereotypical. That's not racist. My mom did that shit for 20 years. That doesn't make her a bad person, or he doesn't make him a racist. It's just what he did. And he never even was saying anything demeaning on Latinos. Hell, he loves like Latinos, man. He was a top billionaire, smashing Latina chicks all the time. You think he's racist? No, he's not. That's their whole argument. They like to bring up these arguments and at work. So, and then the problem is whenever I would bring something remotely like right, bro, I get chastised and just, destroyed. And then they're like, I can't say anything on my end, but they're allowed to be freely saying shit what they want, bro.
yeah,
Like how
exactly. It's one of the reasons why. So even though I've been independent, it's one of the reasons why I haven't really like searched for like a job, nothing like that. It's because a lot of like I was kind of looking around, and a lot of these places that I've tried to look into, I guess it also depends too, but a lot of places I was looking into, they're very heavy in the DEI stuff. I mean, I was looking on Indeed.com, and this is last year in June. In June last year, they literally said Indeed has we support the LGBT, and they literally had jobs where they accepted LGBT, non-binary. I was like, this is ridiculous. It's like this is literally affirmative action right now. You're showing all these applications where they accept LGBT. A job is a job. Why are you pointing out like, hey, you should work here because they accept you? It almost sounds like they will hire you simply because of your sexuality. How is that not affirmative action? I was like, man, indeed, a lot of these companies are about that. They are about the LGBT, all that kind of stuff, and not just with like Indeed, but every company. You look at like cereal brands, look at car brands, look at vacuum brands, like computer brands. A lot of them are about the LGBT agenda, the trans agenda. Even Target was like that. That's why Target, when they pushed a little LGBT stuff, people push back and they push all the LGBT products to the back of the store.
I saw that. That was funny as shit, actually.
Yeah, people push back on that. It all leads to one, big entity. But at the same time, it's like, this is what I mean. A lot of these companies support this, and if you speak out against this, you get fired from your job, you get blacklisted, or whatever the case may be. But they can speak out towards you. They can call you white supremacist. It's really just, in my opinion,
I got called a misogynist and a racist. I'm like, when the hell did I ever say I hated women or where I hated someone for their skin tone? Fool, look at me. I swear to God, people have been shitting on me lately because my light that I have for this makes me look a lot lighter than I really am. I promise you, I'm a little bit darker than I really am. So all you guys suck my dick that have been doing that lately. But anyways, they literally call me a racist. I'm like, because I don't like this guy is because I didn't say anything about his skin tone. I said he's a dickhead. Like, don't put words in my mouth. That's the problem that we're having now, because my old coworkers were getting woke as well. And when you see that problem, and I can't fight, for my own on my own behalf, I have to be sent to like these, DEI courses or something like that, And if anything, when you I would personally, this is my opinion, this is my thinking. If I was a white guy, that's a pretty genuine guy, I don't see people, by their skin tone. I just look at everyone as, human being, like majority of white people that I know. And I get sent to some course, some DEI crap because I disagree with like a black person. They put me in that class. I would feel like I would come out actually racist a little bit because of it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Hell, I never got taken to that, but that is one of like the first training courses, to be on board now. And it's funny you mentioned the Indeed stuff. Believe it or not, I don't know how long you've been looking for Indeed, but this is nothing good to brag about, but I'm like kind of like a job hunting expert when it comes to looking for jobs, because before I get in the position I'm in, I always look for the next, I would apply myself to at least like 50 jobs that I can find anywhere in the world a day, because I just wanted to get as much money as I could. And guess what? A lot of these companies, this is before I became a badass cybersecurity guy.
Okay.
But it made sense now, turning back the clock. When I look at all the, the listing requirements, like, yeah, I qualify for these things, but at the last two, web pages, it always lists your sex, what you identify as, the only thing I can agree that should be on there, I guess, is your veteran status, that's the only thing I can get down with. Right. But why the fuck do they need to know, I mean, I'm obviously gonna, I have no problem with the sex part, but what I identify as sexually and like, do I homosexual or whatever? I'm like, what does that have to do with, in the race thing?
Yeah.
That whenever I started seeing that, I did an experiment with a white friend who was more qualified. Him and I would apply for the same jobs. We did this just last year. He's more qualified. He watches this all the time. So I'm not saying you're better than me, but you're just a little bit qualified more than me. He got turned down by a lot of jobs that I got put into. Now, I didn't take those jobs because this is just an experimental, thing that we were doing. But it just baffled me that how underqualified I was. By the way, I've already known about this underqualification stuff, for the last few years. And I noticed the, what do you call it? Not the end line, the product, the business product. What do you call that? The business, not a business model, but
it's escaping me too.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think. Hey, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up soon. So, anyways, they're gonna get put down. It's not like anyone listens to me. Except I just live here by myself, my dogs. So, anyways, long story short, I noticed in the past few years they were putting underqualified, people in these positions, and I was training them on stuff that they should already know. And I was training girls who, by the way, I spoke out against this one time at work and I got fired. This is like in 2015, 16-ish. And I got fired for telling a woman to dress more professionally. She had her tits out, fucking glittered titties and shit, ass popping out of her fucking pants, and nothing professional about that. I just said, hey, she's a slutty hottie. She's a slutty girl, hot one. I would have smashed at the time. But why are you dressing like that? Like, whatever happened to work ethics? Whatever happened to professionalism? And also, why am I training somebody that's supposed to have a certain amount of knowledge on the most basic aspect on systems engineering? Why am I doing that? Like, that's not my job to cater and babysit this. I put an ad out for this, So why am I doing this? This should not happen. And then whenever I went against that, they're like, oh, you're just sexist. You don't want to train a girl. I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? First, I got fired for demonizing a girl for the way she dressed. I didn't say she looked like a slut. I was like, hey, could you, probably, dress a little bit more professionally. Can't say shit like that anymore. So now, and these professional environments before, I got my own business, bro, there was girls with fucked up hair, blue, red hair and shit. 10 years ago, I didn't see any of that bullshit. And like I tell people all the time, if you want to be a respected person within the professional environment, don't look like a fucking clown. You like, if you want to be gay or whatever, fine. I don't give a shit about your sexual orientation. It's all about your presentation. It's about the respectful presentation that you have. So the bottom line, the company's bottom line matters the most to the customer. And if you have people underqualified that don't meet those deadlines, they still don't fire them. Instead, the company loses the contract, and then another company comes in and either fires those people or ends up getting more DEI people, and it just becomes worse, bro. Because they're not looking at the bottom line of the products anymore. They're pushing out the agenda. They're trying to kill off humanity, the elitist.
Yeah,
They're trying to kill the us peoples, the middle class, so they can have some sort of dystopian future all to themselves. But people are waking up like you and I are.
Yeah, the DEI thing is ridiculous to me because to me, the reason why I don't like the DEI is because they make it seem as if people are not getting hired based on their race, sexuality, gender. But just in the past 10 years, I've seen a lot of women of different race and sexuality work at a lot of jobs. So this idea that this is not happening, and I think this is a problem people tend to overlook. Most are not saying, oh, DEI is, we hate minorities or anything like that. It's the idea that minorities are not getting hired. It's the same thing in movies. If you look at movies, right?
Don't even get me started with that shit.
Yeah, a lot of movies and shows, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying what I've noticed. There's a lot of black people in every single thing because they make it seem as if black people were not doing movies. Yeah, and yet black people were doing movies. I mean, look at the 90s alone. The 90s had a lot of great black movies and things like that. And so they act like even the 80s, 90s, like there was always these black movies, whatever the case may be, but they act like it's not happening. I think that's what people are overlooking, is that they're programming you to make you think that it's not happening when it has been happening, because you're not doing your research to know that decades before, you've had, like, again, back in the 90s when you had your black shows, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Wayne Brothers.
They were more popular than white shows, and people don't realize that. That's what blows my mind. I'm like, what black show that came out? Martin was one of my favorites.
Yeah, and that was way popular. Yep.
Super popular in living color. Only Jim Carrey killed it, although, but it's not like you don't see Jim Carrey, pushing out more whites than that. When by the Damon brothers, or the Wayne brothers, excuse me. But, it was just a different era. And then now they're pushing this soy-based, meta environment where men are being more feminized, and to the point that they have to push this to be included. And, they think that this is, this is the inclusion that we need to have because women are oppressed. Like, no, they're not. Now we live in an egalitarian society where men are getting shit on because we cannot have opinions. And now we're slowly fighting back. And it starts within the minority communities, us and the Latinos and the blacks. We are slowly fighting back. And one person stated best was Larry Elder. There's an epidemic going on right now, and that is the epidemic of fatherlessness. That is the big issue that we need to focus on in the black communities, to rise up and do something about it. Don't seek goddamn governmental help. Don't be fucking playing victim card. This is America, baby. You want to live out the hood? Go live, I don't know, another town over, work at McDonald's. You can do pretty goddamn well in 2 years. You can be a GM, and you're not going to be a millionaire, but you'll be living comfortably. This is about capitalism. Democrats don't push that because they want to control them. Sounds familiar, right? Kind of like the KKK. Oh, that's right. They did create the KKK. People don't realize that. They don't get their education right. And then when I do debate Democrats and liberals on that, they're like, no, but it was the Republican Party. No, it wasn't. Just because it was the South does not mean it was a Republican thing. It was never was. Everything was stemmed from the Democratic Party to control the behavior, and they're doing it openly now, just without saying the trigger words. If they don't say the trigger words, that's how they're going to get people like you and I into thinking, oh, yeah, they are right. You know what I mean? The trigger
Yeah.
words are racism.
Yep. That's like the main one, and everything else falls beneath that. Me personally, I like pushing back against both the left and the right because I think both sides, got problems. Not just
I'm
with
not saying the
government.
right, by the way. I'm not pushing that. I'm not saying, for the record, I'm not saying the right is the right way, by the way. I
Yeah,
still have issues with that. No one's perfect. All right.
yeah.
So I'm just going to state that out there, but go ahead.
No, no. I was gonna say I like pushing back against them too. And again, not like to push back like as far as like they're evil. I'm just saying I just like to kind of see both sides because I've over time I've learned that it's not just Democrats, it's also Republicans too, it's conservatives as well. Like for example, you look at like Turning Point USA, right? When you first see them, you think that they're all about freedom and America first and things like that until you realize they shill for Israel. Um, and I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with liking Israel, but I'm saying that they shelf them in the case of if you speak anything bad about them, they call you anti-Semitic, and that's what I'm talking about. How can you be for free speech, but then you call people anti-Semitic, and then you shut down their free speech for criticizing Israel or anything like that? So I get on people like that, and the fact that Turning Point USA at one point welcomed a transgender. This guy called himself Lady MAGA. They welcomed that in, and like that's degenerate in my opinion. So it's like it's crazy stuff like that. So both sides have their degenerate things going on. So I'll have to kind of push back on both. I'm not saying that all conservatives are bad, but I'm saying that they do some things. I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. And we gotta push back against that too.
Yeah, man. We're not perfect. We understand we have our flaws. We're human beings. We're never going to be perfect. There's always things that we have to work on, whether you're on the left or the right. And the right now they're pushing traditional values as hard as they can, and they're going against people that they shouldn't really go against, which is the red pill space. The only thing that they're crossing swords on is the mere fact that, like, these heavy red pillar guys are, they all have like the same kind of path, but they're not communicating with each other on it. Like, you see how Chase is currently like going to battle again with like Myron and all these
Yeah.
guys. Chase is very flawed. He's a young kid. He doesn't know how the world is like. And one thing I can agree with Myron, even I don't think Myron even understands either. I mean, just because you've traveled these some places out of the country, does not mean you actually know how the culture works, right? I can be that guy. I can be that advisor because I have lived in different countries. I lived in England for 2 years, Turkey for a year and a half, lived in Korea for over a year. I lived in South America, Central America. Bro, as an adult, I've also lived in big cities in America, mind you, right? And guess what? I tell men, if they want to be passport bros, which I'm kind of against, the only way I could ever advocate it is if you have the worst luck in America, in your own town, even if you're in like a different country, and if you have just the worst luck with some really bad vibes with women, then once you get that experience, maybe travel overseas. You know what I mean? But I still I do it. I'm not a passport bro. I've been doing this for like 15 years. All right. So I don't want to be categorized as that. I just go out. Well, as you know me, I told you I don't promote degenerate behavior. I just do what I do. All right. The whole point is,
You gotta stop having sex with women, man.
we're not
Keep it
talking
in
about
your
that right
pants,
now. We're not
buddy.
talking about my problems. But anyways, the whole point is the red pill space and in the tradcon space, right? They want to get somewhere, but they just need to communicate better with each other, right? There's a lot of stuff that we can both agree on what they both say to each other. One's just more aggressive than the other, and then the other vice versa, right? They want to have a debate, but it shouldn't really be a debate. It should be a discussion. But you know what matters the most? Money, influence. If there's no money being pushed, or any influence being pushed, there's no way they can get this kind of agenda. So guess what I did, Julius? I put this tweet out when I saw Andrew Wilson, Pearl Davis, and a few other people. They had a YouTube a few months ago, or like a month ago, not even. And when I finished it, it hit every single point that I have ever done. And I've mentioned to Andrew, I'm glad he mentioned this, about men's right advocacy and how we are getting dogged on. And I'm very worried about our future kids and grandchildren. The only way we could ever stop this, egalitarian, stronghold to become full on matriarchy to, take hold is to find political figures that are not too corrupt. They're all going to be corrupt, but not too corrupt to give money to put a first step into the right direction for future men to bring back a real patriarchy that is instilling real Christian values, bringing back religion in general, good morals, get rid of this degenerate behavior from the left, and producing more babies. Because we're, like you said, like you mentioned, we're in a population decline, not just in America, but the world. And guess what? When they're and you have base kids with you and I, and you have your kid, and then I start having my own kids, you want to push this idea out to them to make sure and have them live a good life. Basically, no life's gonna be perfect. We're all gonna have our ups and downs. What I'm saying is, I have $100,000 in cash ready to make the first move. If these guys are that serious, I have found one candidate, but the problem is he's a divorce lawyer. The problem is the divorce courts. These divorce lawyers are making so much money. In a way, it's kind of counteracting with their finances, right? Yeah, divorce lawyers, they fight against, divorces and whatever, but they also make a lot of money from divorces, right? Like one of my favorites is James Sexton. I have gotten in touch with him. I have his personal number and stuff. I want to have him on my show soon. And I feel like someone in that high regard, I feel like I could make that money plus other people into the right push for the future. Because I don't think you and I are going to see it, but I want it to happen. I want to see a positive light by the time, my kids become teenagers. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do, is to help men, bring real men, not these soys coming up in these, in this fucking political environment right now. Because you have to admit, there's so many soys. There's lack of masculinity. I used to be part of that, soy beta, days, and I'm glad, I turned my life around, dude. And that's what I'm pushing for. And then also ending the epidemic, and then I have to keep shitting on these clowns as much as possible until these girls realize, oh my God, I'm losing viewers. I'm losing money. It's because men are opening their eyes that there's something better. It's called going out and touching grass.
Yeah.
That's all there is, Julius.
I agree.
Then that's what I'm trying to do. And then I want you to help me on this, the SIMPADEMIC bandwagon, bro. I want you to join me on this. And I need to make more videos, live videos. I do what you call Thirsty Thursdays. I get on, these live streams. I do my own talking. Sometimes I have a guest. But what I do is I go on Twitch streams. I go on the baths and bubbles, whatever the fuck those, streams are, with these half naked chicks. And then I just go shit on them. I don't shit on them, though. I shit on the users, like these 3,000 viewers watching these girls just do nothing. Like, they're just half naked or damn near naked. And these guys are throwing them these memberships and money and crap. I'm like, why are you doing this? And then guess what? As soon as I get in there, I'm like, hey, new to the stream. Hey, raise your hand, or hey, everyone say, put one in the chat if you're a virgin or incel, And then, well, yeah, you can't say incel anymore on Twitch. They're mods. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're modded up. You can't say simp, incel. Obviously, cuss words. Dude, Twitch has gone to the porn wagon now, but it's catered to all these girls, and it's so bad, bro. Like, I'm going on to these streams, getting shit on, then I get blocked by the stream chicks by themselves. And it's pretty funny, actually. I like shitting on. I don't like to shit on the women. I shit on the idiots that are allowing this degenerate behavior to keep going.
Yeah, my friend Nick has a good word for it. He calls it sympathetic.
Ooh, I like that too. Damn.
It's so
SIMPADEMIC, sympathetic.
Yeah, sympathetic or sympathy.
Ooh, I have no sympathy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, you got it.
One thing I want to, before we let you go, I want to know one thing about you.
So,
tell me about your journey as a man. Like, how did you get out of your soy beta stage?
Yeah. So, long story short, for me, I had my eyes open when I was in a relationship with this woman, and that's when I recognized female nature. And I kept wondering, why was I like this when prior to her I wasn't so much of a simp, but it kind of got that way. And I was like, why am I like this? And what am I doing wrong? And so I started looking at content on the internet, trying to find out why certain things happen. And it led me to looking at the conservative movement. And I was like, you know what? I am at the time pro-life, and I am pro-gun, I am pro-constitution. And I realized, I was like, this whole thing about me putting the woman up here, she's only going to look, it's the way I see it, when you put her up here, she's looking down upon you. When she puts you up here, she's looking up to you. And I had to make that distinction. And so I realized I can't be a man if I'm always allowing the women to lead me. Because what does that say about me? You know what I mean?
She's
And once I kind of
you now.
right, once I overcame that they call it female energy, like once I overcame that by forgiving, it changed my whole entire life to allow me to step more into my manhood, especially with being a father. I'm not going to be a weak father to my daughter, and she sees this father who's emotional, can't handle life, and things like that. I got to stand up so that when a man comes along for her, a good Christian man comes along for her, she can look up to him the way she looks up to me. And I can't do that if I'm always being emotional. Because then she's going to always look at men like they're weak, pathetic. She can use them because of how her father is. So what my journey into manhood was just forgiveness and giving my life to Christ and following his way. I'm not perfect by any means, but I can definitely pray about it. I can definitely see my wrongs, read the Bible, understand it, and call out evil. God commands us to call out evil in its wicked ways, and that's what I try to do. Well, especially with politicians, every single week I go down to city council, and we're pushing back against city council. We're causing the stir. People know who we are now. So my journey into manhood is just forgiveness. Forgive if you have resentment towards your parents, forgive them because they're still trying to raise themselves. So forgive your parents, love your father, love God, and all will be well.
Are you trying to make me cry, dude? Just kidding. No, that was very good.
Yeah, man, don't get into your emotions. No,
Yeah, you stoic bastard.
Put that tear back in the eye, buddy.
No, that was actually really good. I actually respect that. I can't disagree. Even from a standpoint of a non-religious person like myself, I really, because I had such trauma as a child, it's very difficult for me to commit myself to God. If you watch the Andrew Wilson interview I had with him, you'll understand a little bit better what I mean by that. It's not a very long discussion. I would recommend you watching that. It was like, that's when I started getting more comfortable speaking on, camera and stuff like that.
Okay.
As well. And they got better with this, even though I'm like a big speaker, these, big IT nerdy, virgin conferences that I hold, whatever, but it's a big difference, when it comes to this kind of content creation. I still don't consider myself a content creator, like definitely not like yourself. I just consider myself more of an entertainer and, an advisor for free. Remember, I told you, if you ever want to, seek out, including you, Julius, if you ever want to seek, a decent living, and I can guarantee you 6 figures, but it's not going to happen within a year. But if you want to do something that's good and you want to help society out, let me know. IT is a really good way to go. You know why? It's always advancing and it's very easy to learn. And it doesn't take that long. Look at me, GED.
Good enough
Drop out.
degree. Yep. Yeah.
Good
Good enough degree.
All right. And I've helped 5 people out, one on their way to the test. And I'm waiting for one girl right now to let me know if she's ready for the pre-test with me first. Then I'm going to pay for her test. And these tests are $350 a piece, maybe $250. I can't remember. No, $350 a piece. Do the math. This is my money I'm spending, Julius. You're not going to see that from content creators at all. You're not going to see that in a red pill space or anything. No way. You're not going to see that. You know why I pay for this? Because I feel it's beneficial to society to have men and women do something good that's not going to be degenerate. It's going to be helpful to their families. And best of all, live a kind of a prospering life, That's all I ask for. Because guess what? We're not perfect, but we can lead a life that you and I can, teach these young men and women. that there's things out there that you don't have to, show your tits off or, promote degenerate behavior as a guy. And you can actually do pretty well. And guess what? You can still communicate and socialize with people, right? People don't understand it. And now I can't speak on other STEM things, unfortunately. I can only speak on cybersecurity and technology, but I'm not talking about computer engineering either. That's completely different. And I can't do all kinds of coding. I can do a little Linux, but not like that. So putting that out there, I can do the most basic stuff to help anyone out. If you guys need help with IT, I know Harry Toe hit me up about this certification stuff. Hit me up on X, man. I put my link in there for you. I have nothing but good and warm, thoughts about this conversation that we had, man. I really appreciate everything you did coming here, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
And look, everyone really likes you too. There was a bit of an argument within the chat earlier. That was pretty funny to watch. But it wasn't with us, it was there were just two people arguing with each other. But that was funny. I like seeing drama in my chat. But I appreciate everyone tuning in. Please, guys, don't forget to, subscribe to his stuff. He has good videos, well edited. He has really good people I've seen on there. I haven't seen them all, but I like the ones that I have seen. I can definitely tell you guys which ones from, personally. I like the one, he has one that's charged again. We already spoke about, fucking Jordan Neely, the chokeout, gender dysphoria. That was a good one too. Did not read.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I liked.
Yeah. Adam Vina and God, why am I looking at Harrison Tinsley? Those two men really need the support right now because they're going through custody battles and things like that. And so if you guys get a chance, do watch those videos because those men can really use you guys' help. I won't go too much into detail. Just go watch the video and you'll understand their story.
Which one is it? Hold on.
Harrison Tinsley and Adam Vina. The gender dysphoria should be Adam Vina. And then there's another one with Harrison Tinsley. If you type in like today with Julius Harrison Tinsley, you'll find it.
Oh, father for him. Oh yeah. Oh, you got to interview him?
Yeah, he's cool.
I read about him.
Yeah, I met him here in Sacramento. He came out and we met. We actually talked, I think, twice, maybe. But yeah, he's a real cool dude. Very nice guy. Definitely fights for the kids. Even his own. So he's a real good dude, man. And he makes music too. So
I'm not a musician. Too, I appreciate good art.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out some music I make as well, I also got some music on my page. It's like 4 songs, but if you want to check it out, I'm actually working on 3 new songs I'm actually working on. But I'm pushing 2 originals to the side, and I'm going to put this one out because Kanye West put an album out called Vultures. And as you guys know, Kanye West was, I guess, claimed to be Christian, but now with this new album Vultures, it's just talking about nothing but degenerate stuff like sex and things like that. And I don't know what happened to him. My friend Bryson tried to talk to him. I don't know what happened, but Kanye is no longer the Christian that we once thought he was. So I heard this song called Carnival, and it was just nothing but sex references. And so I'm writing the verse right now. I'm writing the second half right now. And I'm going to put that song out pretty soon. Hopefully before I go live with the Rumble stuff, I'm going to put that song out beforehand. And I think it needs to be heard because people need to understand that this whole music with degeneracy, it's all pushed by the same people who pushing all this other stuff. I mean, for example, look at Leor Cohen, a Jewish guy who's heavily involved in music, hires minorities to push out music about drugs, sex, and things like that, but then acts like we got a drug epidemic when he's the one being a part of the problem.
Right.
So I'm definitely pushing back on that. Hopefully you guys will like the song. I'm very excited with this verse I got right now, and I can't wait to record it and put it out. So you guys want to get a chance, check me out. Also, too, you guys want to follow me again, all social media platforms. Today with Julius, you can Google it, DuckDuckGo, whatever the case may be. But Today with Julius on everything essentially.
I have all his description, guys. Also, I have all his details in my description. That's the very first thing I did, guys. Please follow his stuff. I respect the shit out of you, man. I even know what you put up with my, aggressive stance, on everything. I think I really respect you a lot, man. I like everything you do, and you're pushing and busting yourself, to, better your life, not just for yourself, but for your kid. You
Yeah.
know, not a lot of people, understand, the hard times that us men have to go through. I don't even have any kids, but I consider my mom kind of my kid now. But no, I'm just kind of
Yeah.
kidding. But in reality though, people don't see that about you, and people need to know that, like not every single detail about you, but people need to know that men like us have to struggle to do something good in their life, not to be a millionaire, but just to just to show that, men, guess what, we all have to struggle to make ends meet. All right, and guess what, that's part of the journey for us. All right,
Yeah.
that's all. It's nothing bad. You just have to learn. Just gotta push, and then you'll be happy, respect it, and that's all. That's
Agreed.
why I have nothing but love for you, Julius. I can't
I
wait to have
appreciate
you
you, man.
back on, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, Josie, you're late as fuck, like
I gotta get you
always.
on. I gotta get you on my show too. I gotta get you on
Fuck
my
yeah,
show.
bro. You come up
That'd be
with
cool.
some anything. I'll definitely keep it YouTube rated, though. I know you like to go on YouTube a lot. Oh, everybody, get on his Rumble. Fuck his YouTube. Even though I'm on YouTube live right now, I don't give a fuck. But anyway, it's my YouTube, though, so I can say what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not even getting monetized off them, but Rumble is monetizing me.
YouTube demonetized me.
What?
So
I
there's
have
that.
so many people too. What the fuck?
Yeah, they demonetized me back in what was it? Like September, August, something like that. They
You
demonetized.
have nothing bad on there. You don't even
Yeah.
say tranny or anything like that.
I say a lot, but I mean, it has
Just
certain content.
narrative, sure, but you don't say words like I have.
Yeah. I try to keep it very solid, but it is what it is. I mean, I can reapply, but I try to reapply, but it always says I can't. So I'm like, I can't get monetized until they remove that. I can get monetized, but it is
You know
what
what?
it is.
You know what I'll do? All these little donations I'm getting, I'm just gonna send it to you. If you just send me
No,
a
don't.
via DM,
No. Feed your
I
dogs,
don't need your
man.
money.
Feed your dogs. The dogs need it more than I do. It's all good. So
Fuck that. I don't need the money from them, man. You
it's all
fucking
good.
assholes. I told you not to fucking give me money.
I appreciate Rumble for what they're doing. The fact that they allowed me to do the live stream stuff, like that's the best I can. I'm happy about that, man. It's cool.
Hey, since they're doing since we're doing the partnership program again, we should definitely do like more like co-streaming together. I think we can
Okay.
do that with I'm using Rumble Studio right now.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, I know they introduced that and it's a
It's
new
open now
thing
to
now.
everybody, to the Rumble
Yeah,
creators.
but I still use StreamYard because I like to get to other platforms. So I still use StreamYard, but yeah, Rumble, this will be great. I gotta test this out before the 14th because I want to really like look at this stream. It looks pretty
Yeah,
dope.
yeah. Let me know if you want me to if you're gonna have me on there. Whatever. That's what I did. I did it. I did some embarrassing test streams when I was testing out in the beta version. People
Yeah,
are coming on and sharing my links on Twitter. I'm like, no, don't be sharing this shit, guys. Like, I'm
yeah,
just testing
that's
this
true.
out, but I look like
Yeah,
such a dipshit, dude. I was like, oh my god, like my hair's all messed up. I had a
yeah,
little afro going on. I'm like, and then people are like, oh, you are black. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I just have my hair short, you idiot.
yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah, it was pretty funny. People are ragging on me. But anyways, thanks, Julius. I'm gonna wrap everything up, guys. Julius, I'm gonna hit you up on X again.
Appreciate you.
Everyone, like I said, don't forget to subscribe to his shit down on the link below. Don't forget to follow me and like my video. We are gonna keep it real, America. Yes.
Appreciate
Bye.
you. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I always quote my friend Namli saying that. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you beating cheeks for having me on. Thank you.
Just call me Berto, bro.
All right, Berto.
You're
All right,
good.
Berto. All right, man. See you guys.